Steven, are you ready to take accountability?
I don't understand why you're acting like I'm just like this like useless retard.
The reason why I'm acting like you're a useless retard is because of the fact that when you speak on these topics, you speak so assertively, and then you're pretty, you're pretty on the edge of being extremely disrespectful. But beyond that, after you're called out on it, then your fallback is I was confused, or I haven't thought these things through, or I was being hypocritical, or whatever. And I'm just like, bruh, if you're not even gonna own something,
you'd rather me not acknowledge that I have shortcomings?
I would rather you not have conversations if you don't think.
I do think. What do you mean? I still stand by 90% of what I said about sex work.
No, you are like soup
shut up,
when it comes to these conversations.
No, shut up, thank you.
So
No, I think that we definitely have different thought patterns.
What did you just say to me? Did you just tell me to shut up?
Yeah, I did. I think that we have different thought patterns.
If you would have added the B word, I honestly would have been upset. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, I can see that about you. You're very sensitive and emotional. But
using that as an insult.
Why, Lav?
That wasn't an insult.
Lav, why? Abba's so nice. Why?
Well, Abba, no, hold on. Abba came in a little heated towards her. She can be heated.
Nice. Abba is not nice. Don't run cover for. Stop running interference for him.
Yes. Don't. How are you saying no? You're saying that
that's
Lav is allowed to call
what
somebody.
I'm saying. You're chipping away. I'll tell you the prescriptions. I love telling you what to do. If you want me to tell you what to do, I'll fucking tell you.
Pause. Wait. Why would Destiny or Steven need to protect grown adults from their own fucking choices?
You're so wrong.
You have no
I don't want to talk to
you
about this. I don't want to talk to you about this.
Okay.
I'm willing to be civil in a group conversation with you, but you tried to destroy my life, and because of that, I'm never going to talk to you again.
Tried to destroy. I deleted the tweet again within an hour.
It doesn't matter.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
I deleted it within an hour.
We're done. Stardust, we're done. We're done. Stardust, you and I, it doesn't matter. Nothing you did.
History of being a Me Too.
It doesn't matter. And let him stand as the captain of the ship. Let him stand. Oh my God! Stop! All of your voices drowning me out. You should let him stand as the captain of the ship.
He is standing. That's how tall he is.
Tall and strong. Shut the f up. You should let him stand.
I think a perfect example of this is the Anna situation.
I'm actually about to nuke you from orbit. Lav, this is one of the things where you're too young and actually stupid to even begin to comment on. If you do this, I'm gonna I'll actually lose my shit.
Right. If you're saying you're gonna stop, you're gonna nuke her from. You're saying you're gonna.
Let's do it. I changed my mind. Let's do it. Hold on. No, sorry. Hold on. I completely changed my mind. Lav, I give you permission. Go. Dude, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Bring it up. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, let's go ahead. Before
you respond, I don't want to have judoed you into having to listen to this.
No, I want to. I'm excited.
But your first response to it was, "I'm gonna cut ties with you if you press me on this."
He thought about it.
I thought about it. You're right. I was wrong.
It doesn't matter what he said after he thought about it. I just want it to be acknowledged that when Lav says, "Hey, I think you mistreated this person really publicly, and I want to press you on it," his first response was, "I will cut ties with you."
I have the right to do that. I don't even know if Lav benefits that much from being on my platform. No, you're saying I don't. You're saying that as part of my response. You're playing the fucking word game again. You're so abusive with the way that you talk, okay? You're doing this double speak where you're like, you have the right to do it, but you're arguing that I ought not to do it, okay? You know what I mean when I say that. Stop trying to dance around the 3 or 4 different definitions you can describe a word at any point in the conversation. You're saying that I ought not to act in a certain way, and I'm saying I can't do that. And he's like, well, technically you can do that, but that's not what we're talking about. Hold on, stop. You're telling me that it is unethical for me to tell Lav that I don't want to have that conversation with her because it's an abuse of my power. Can you give me a yes or no to that? Or you can use a sentence, but explain what if I'm allowed to do that.
My question was, do you acknowledge...
I don't know why you're asking me a question. I'm asking you, is it ethical for me to tell Lav, I don't want to talk about that, or I'm going to kick you off of here? Is that an ethical thing for me to do, or is that unethical? Answer that question.
I don't know. Can I explain? Can I explain?
Yes, do.
Can I explain?
Yes, explain it. I want to hear.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, go. I'm sorry, because earlier it seemed like you implied exactly that, but go ahead.
I know. Let me explain myself, and
explain
then you'll understand.
Okay, help me.
My question was, do you see that that is a very defensive reaction? That was all I asked, and you said, but I have the right to do it.
What are you implying when you say defensive?
Wait, stop. I have nothing. I'm actually asking you.
You're not implying anything?
Let me finish explaining this to you. This is a complicated idea
go for it.
that a lot of people in your audience are too dumb to understand, and I need you to let me flesh it out a little bit. There's no single instance that is going to exemplify police racism. We don't know why George Floyd was killed. We don't know what would have happened if he weren't black. There's no single instance that's going to exemplify an abusive dynamic. It is a constellation of occurrences and behaviors, and no single thing is going to prove anything. You're going to have a justifiable explanation for every single data point. But my point is, I just want to say, as far as we're talking about this, I want to bring up the question of, is it right for you to shoot down allegations of abuse by threatening to nuke people? I don't know if it is. I don't.
Hello, Steven. Here we are again.
Facts don't care about your feelings. Neither do I. I'm open to changing my mind. Are you? I'm a comedian. I'm a writer. I'm a centrist.
Steven, are you ready to take accountability?
For what?
Well, here you guys have been having consistent arguments dissecting what a self-described confused 24-year-old who doesn't know what she's talking about and doesn't think before she speaks. At what point is there like no point in having these conversations if she doesn't know what she's talking about and you're out here frustrating yourself trying to figure out what she's talking about?
Well, don't forget, he's getting paid for this, so he'll do this all day, every day.
The thing that's interesting for me is I know that she quote unquote doesn't know what she's talking about because she's still exploring, but like neither did Sneako. But like to watch the evolution of those thought processes in those people, especially because I can see shards of myself in those younger people too. Bro, if I could have been a live streamer at 18 or 19 years old, you think Lav is arrogant? Dude, I was writing journals about how I thought I was gonna be the smartest person in the world. I was an unbelievably arrogant teenager, like literal fucking anime villain wannabe. Dude, if I could have had those thoughts broadcast to the world, it would be so cringe. Like these kids today don't realize how lucky our generation is that like Zangas and live journals and shit, that shit doesn't exist anymore, because if that shit got leaked, it would be so cringe. So like in some ways I do see like reflections of like my younger version of myself with some of these people too. So it's interesting to see how they grow and change, and like if I can provide like a little push along the way, it's always it's always interesting.
I don't disagree with you. My issue is the fact that, you know, you bring her on stream and y'all start dissecting what she's saying. You're getting heated and upset about some of the stuff or how she's saying it. And I'm like, bruh, she's confused. She's told you she's confused.
I think that confusion is okay, and it's okay to be thinking and you know, working on stuff. The things that I start to get frustrated about are when I feel like they're starting to get aggressive towards me, because there's no amount of her personal confusion should make her say something like, oh, I think you're bad faith and you're treating me. That's not true. I'm absolutely not. I'm very charitable. And when those types of like messages start coming out, well, then I'm going to start to get upset. Yeah.
You start to get upset. Why?
Because now she's mischaracterizing me, and that has nothing to do with her own personal confusion. That just has to do with like an emotional frustration of being attacked by audiences and stuff. That's what's gonna like set me off, is when it gets personal towards me and no longer about her.
Is that because she's your friend, or is that because she's putting bad things about you on the internet, which everyone does about you? So
no, it's because she's making a super ultra bad analysis. She's saying that like, oh, you are being very uncharitable towards me, when no, I'm being ultra charitable towards you. And the fact that you're mixing those up is really frustrating, because my community rails me for being too charitable towards you, and now you're railing me for not being charitable enough, and I'm not going to take it from both ends like that. That's going to drive me fucking crazy.
I just don't understand how she can have the defense of she's confused, she doesn't think things through, she hasn't really thought her political opinions, or she doesn't think before she speaks at the same time.
That's more convenient to do it that way. If you don't answer, you're just never kind of always not on the hook. You're like, oh yeah, I haven't thought about that, and it's easy. It's a lot harder to be like, oh, I thought this was good, and I was wrong. You have to take accountability for it.
So you think she's saying that stuff to escape accountability, and she has thought about it? She's just lost.
I think partially it's accountability, but I think it's also I think there's also like a huge like shade of truth towards it, right? Like these online communities are like hardcore, like your throat if you're minorly incorrect about things. Even my community does it to me. Like I couldn't imagine, and I think a lot of these people don't even know what normal people think. Like if you brought on a normie and asked them about like trans people, they'd probably be, you mean hermaphrodites? You mean cross-dress? Like they wouldn't even know the difference. The average person, even in the United States today, probably wouldn't. And the audience would eviscerate those people. So it is a really rough community to step into and try to figure your thoughts out, because you're going to get hardcore judged by everybody over it.
Yep. It's not easy being cheesy. You know who said that?
Who said that, Dan?
Chester Cheetah.
I don't even know who the fuck that is. Should I?
Greatest philosopher. What? You don't know who Chester Cheetah? I'm confused.
Isn't that the Cheeto guy?
Yes, the Cheeto guy. It's the cat, right?
Okay. Yeah. If you say so.
Okay.
Oh, another one.
Okay. I'm actually curious, and maybe I'm going off a little. Maybe
when you say you're super curious.
So, ignoring what Dan just said. If somebody's mental faculties are compromised and they come to you and they want to start having debates, and you know that the reason why they're posting or saying all this crazy stuff is because they're mentally compromised, okay? And you're like, I'm not going to have this person on. That's a take I would probably agree with in a lot of situations. Now, if someone says they're too young and too stupid or too unable to think things through, and that's why we shouldn't take them seriously, but you still bring them out, you don't feel like there's something there that's wrong?
No, I don't think so. As long as people aren't like too harsh on her for it. Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think that I would say that obviously I jerk myself up, but I think I'm a good person to like have those conversations with, because I think I'm one of the few people on this planet that can have a conversation with somebody that is undecided or that I disagree with, or I can just be like a really neutral sounding board. Like I can test and probe your ideas a bit, we can have a conversation about it, but I'm not going to jump down your throat when you say something that I probably disagree with personally. And Lav says a ton of shit that I disagree with. But I think it's pretty hard to find people like me that could be both critical, but also like kind and patient at the same time. Most people that are going to be critical are going to jump down your throat. Most people that are kind and patient are going to simp like motherfuckers and not give you any, critical feedback at all.
Abba, can I ask, are you getting the vibe from Lav that she's like, you're giving her an out, but she doesn't want to take the out, she wants it both ways. She wants to be young and figuring it out, and she wants to be considered an equal in these conversations. Speak of the devil. Hi, Lav. I'm trying to figure out, like, just if Abba can answer the question, like, I'm just curious, like, I understand where you're coming from as well. Well, I guess Lav now has to answer the question because she's fucking here. I don't know.
Just to summarize, they're just trying to figure out if you're like super manipulative and just trying to do whatever is best for you.
I'm not trying to figure that out. I don't care.
Gotcha.
I already give young people like less opportunities in these conversations because I already know they're operating from limited experience. But if they self-describe themselves as confused people who don't think, then I'm just like, why are we even listening? Like, let's just let them go somewhere else and not think. And not have serious political discussions about like, well, what do you think about this, Lav?
Well, what do you think about like Sneako?
Well, Sneako actually claims that he's thinking things through, so I'm fine with people going at it. Me personally, it became exhausting and repetitive. So
but I mean, like, so for that, like, I would say that Sneako does worse than Lav, because at least at the end of the day, Lav is like, oh, like, yeah, maybe I'm dumb and maybe I'm not thinking this through and maybe I'm too aggressive. And I was like, at least she'll admit it, even if I feel like it might be like kind of a half cope. But like Sneako wouldn't say that at all. Sneako's gonna be like, no, I broke it out. I figured it all out. I'm out of the matrix. You guys are the bots, right? Like, I don't think I've ever had a conversation or heard Lav say like, oh, you're a bot. You're not thinking of this. If she said that to me, I would lose my mind. Right?
Here's the difference.
Yeah.
If you go at Sneako, if you go at Sneako and he feels some type of way and you feel some type of way, what we won't fall back on is, well, I didn't think, or I'm confused, or I'm rushing in too fast. He's gonna just say, this is what I believe, and then you guys can have a debate on the grounds that he's a full-grown adult who's gonna take accountability for the thoughts that he has. Even if they're stupid, even if they're based in the fact that he's too young to understand stuff, at least he's holding accountability for whatever he's thinking. If Lav is saying, I'm compromised in some kind of way, I need attention, or whatever the fuck it is that she's saying that's compelling her to do this stuff, okay?
Wait,
then there's no point in having these discussions, because even if you do prove her wrong, well, then she says, I'm confused, and then you leave it at that.
I guess I would rather, there's a saying, and I'm not going to be able to remember it, but there's a saying where it's like, ignorance is not the most intelligent, or ignorance is not the biggest danger. It's like false intelligence. Like there's like somebody that doesn't know something, or somebody that's ignorant about something, that's a whatever thing. But the scary thing is when somebody thinks they know something. That's way more, in my opinion, frustrating to deal with. So even somebody that's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know this, or I'm changing my mind, or I'm kind of dumb on this particular topic, or whatever. I find that person, so like Lav, is less frustrating to deal with than somebody like Sneako, who you're saying, well, he takes full accountability. Yeah, but he's super wrong and super incorrect. And he won't even acknowledge that.
I don't care whether it's frustrating or not. The question is whether or not having these conversations even has a point. If you're talking about the fact that it's frustrating for you, I imagine it probably is frustrating. But at least Sneako owns what he believes, and then he sticks by it and doesn't hide behind either his age or his confusion.
And that's
hold on. Actually, let me rephrase something. I said hide as if what you're saying is not true. You may actually be feeling these things, okay? So I didn't mean to invalidate that. But I think those conversations at least make more sense to me than speaking to somebody who really doesn't actually feel confident.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I would personally prefer. And also, when you say what's the point, we can have different reasons for having different conversations too. Like, I'm not telling you that like you need to talk to these people the same way I do, right? I understand we all kind of talk to people for different reasons, but like I would be a happier man. I would prefer it if Sneako took like the Lav route and was like, oh yeah, I actually don't know a lot of this. Like maybe I am making like big false assumptions and I am kind of confused. If Sneako said that, I would consider that to be a dramatic improvement over where he's at now, even if it might, I guess, feel worse to you in a conversation. But okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I agree on that point.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree that it probably would be better, but I think in regards to having conversations online about political debate, I don't think there's a point to having those conversations with Lav in any form.
Well, yeah, but I think Lav's, to be clear, the conversations that Lav has on here with me aren't usually like, I'm here to debate politics with you. Most of them, if it is a political topic, it's usually relating to her self-development or her self-discovery, generally. It's like a personal topic for her, not just like, I'm here to debate about like...
or about feminism or about gender. Yeah, which are things that I actually do know about, thank you very much. I don't like the characterization that I'm just like a retard coming in, because I'm certainly not. I think that's really fucking weird, and you're acting as if like that's like an extremely strange characterization of me. I think that
hold on, who are you talking about so we can be clear?
Abba.
Okay.
I think that the past couple drama streams, I think I struggle interpersonally with like the relationship with Steven. I think that the last couple streams have been like drama, right? But I think the ones where we were talking about like feminism and gender actually were like pretty cool conversations that I think were like fun to have. Yeah, like I think that I added a lot in the sex work conversation because I'm a sex worker who's also extremely critical of sex work. Like I think that that's like very nice to have. I think that that's good to platform. I think that that's good to pay attention to. I don't understand why you're acting like I'm just like this like useless retard.
The reason why I'm acting like you're a useless retard is because of the fact that when you speak on these topics, you speak so assuredly, and then you're pretty, you're pretty on the edge of being extremely disrespectful. But beyond that, after you're called out on it, then your fallback is I was confused, or I haven't thought these things through, or I was being hypocritical, or whatever. And I'm just like, bruh, if you're not even gonna own the stuff that
you'd rather me not acknowledge that I have shortcomings.
I would rather you not have conversations if you don't think.
I do think. What do you mean? I still stand by 90% of what I said about sex work. I could have definitely been nicer when debating it. Like that's the big deal, is that like I was extremely like uncharitable to people like Madame Genevieve. I came in too aggressively. But I think all of my points are still incredibly apt.
If you don't say so yourself.
Just to be clear, as a real quick thing,
myself.
what Abba's frustration was the thing that I said before, is that like Abba's just upset that for you it sounds like you're taking accountability by saying I don't know, but for Abba it feels like that's a way of avoiding accountability by making extreme statements and then saying I don't know. That's like the opposite feeling of it. Yeah.
Sure, but do you know how inhuman it is for a person to, in the middle of a conversation, be like, oh my god, you're so right, I'm so wrong, I'm gonna fuck, I'm like, that's not normal.
Lav, don't let them Mott and Bailey you. Abba said you don't think when you talk. That's what you're responding to. Don't let Steven slip in some charitable sounding bullshit that you can respond to instead.
True. I think I do think before I speak most of the time.
Okay, look, but Lav is literally doing it to herself.
Listen, I'm not upset. I'm not upset. Carry on having these conversations. Do whatever you please. I just think when I listen to you, I don't understand where you stand. I don't understand why you don't stand where you stand anymore.
No, I think
you are like soup
shut up,
when it comes to these conversations.
No, shut up, thank you.
So
no, I think that we definitely have different thought patterns.
What did you just say to me? Did you just tell me to shut up?
Yeah, I did. I think that we have different thought patterns.
If you would have added the B word, I honestly would have been upset. I'm not gonna lie.
Stop.
Well, yeah, I can see that about you. You're very sensitive and emotional.
But using that as an insult.
Why, Lav?
That wasn't an insult.
Lav, why? Abba's so nice. Why?
Well, Abba, no, hold on. Abba came in a little heated towards her. She can be heated.
Nice. Abba is not nice. Don't run cover for. Stop running interference for him. Wait, you guys are in like a 4v1, and no one will.
Wait, it's not a 4v1.
It absolutely is, and you won't even let Lav finish her response to Abba saying she doesn't think when she talks. Imagine if someone said that to Steven.
No, Abba.
Well, but hold on. That's because at the end of conversations, I don't ever use okay. Gotta back up through so many layers, so many pages, okay? The problem that Abba has is that after Lav seems to be caught out on something, one of the reasons she gives feels like an excuse or defense to him, where she's saying, oh, well, I haven't thought about this enough, or oh, like I'm young, or blah, blah, blah. Abba's saying that feels like an excuse. And if you were to say to like Lav, like, oh, well, it feels like you're kind of dumb, you don't understand what you're saying, he's saying that because of those things that she says. If you were to say to Destiny, oh, Destiny's really stupid, or he's dumb because he doesn't think, well, I'm not giving that same excuse. Well, sometimes I'm dumb and I just don't think about things. So it'd be different if you applied it to me than if you applied it to Lav.
Right, when people, some people say things.
I think it's acceptable for people to come on and say that, like, straight up, that they are not fully decided on something, especially somebody like Lav who is going through a change, right? So
people say things
novelty,
that are
and I think part of the novelty in my position is that I am in real time finding my own place in sex work with all the criticisms that I have. I think that that's really valuable.
I think that's true of everybody, but I think we all have to deal with it when we say something that we realize was wrong when we thought we were right. And then, so if you want to listen to a streamer who is going to say, yeah, I was wrong and I was emotional, I was 24 or whatever, and explain why, listen to Lav. If you want to listen to somebody who's going to dig their heels in, then listen to Abba. But like they're both, there's not really like a good way out of that situation.
Just different philosophies. Abba, if you want to be that person, you can be that person, and you also never have to listen to me. No one is forcing you to. So
You're
it doesn't
absolutely
make
correct.
It doesn't make any sense that you're complaining about it.
I'm not complaining. I was just making the
No,
point.
you are.
Well, no, complaining would be like, I wish Lav wasn't on the stream.
Could I get to speak, or do I need to tell you to shut up?
Oh, here we go.
Okay. I just want to make sure. So what I was trying to tell Destiny was that here he is having constant conversations where he's getting heated, and I just thought it was very bizarre to me that you often have this position where I don't know what I'm thinking, or I'm confused about my thoughts, or I haven't thought these things through, as a bit of a cop-out to these conversations. To me, that's not me being like, oh my God, can you stop bringing this on? I'm just like confused. Destiny, like, why are you getting mad about this? She's told you she doesn't think through what she says a lot of the time. So I don't know. I don't find those kind of conversations.
You're using what I think is a strength of mine to discredit me in your worldview, which is a problem.
I mean, you can see it as a strength. I personally don't, but that's fine.
No, exactly. This is just if you value being steadfast, even if you're wrong, that's your deal, and I don't agree with it either.
No.
I'm never going to talk to Steven and be like, I don't know, he's really stubborn. Do you think it's like you're not going to change his mind? Why do you?
That's not what I value. What I value is that people.
No, that is what you value, because that's literally the inverse of what you're telling Steven about me.
I'm gonna tell you to shut up just so I can get my point in. Okay?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes. So, what I value is that people who are going to have strong opinions the way that you had about some of these conversations have actually taken the time to think things through. And then instead, when you have such a strong opinion, you're so cavalier about the shit that you're saying.
And I was still adaptable and movable when given new information. That is a strength.
Lav, I think you should reject the premise that your character is on trial and that it's acceptable for Abba to come in and just start criticizing you. I think even by responding to his criticisms, it's a weird situation where it's just like everybody who has an opinion on whether Lav is full of shit should just come in and start talking about it.
Well, I don't think that was Abba's initial position. I think Abba just wanted to know why I was pursuing those conversations. Probably because they're a bit different than the other types of
but he was also he used that as a way to like posture himself above me.
No, I don't think. No,
he said he said she doesn't think before she speaks.
But that's but that's part.
Dan called her a snake. Abba said the reason I'm speaking.
Wait,
to you
Abba's conversation and Dan's conversation were totally separate. You can't compare the two.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. They're totally. You just compared them. They're totally different conversations.
No, you and Lav are having some kind of conflict where you guys are talking about something that occurred between the two of you. Lav said something on my stream that you believe you're trying to hold her feet to the fire and make her own it. You believe she's trying to escape responsibility and have it both ways. That's totally fine. But the idea that all of your buddies here are going to come in and start at it. It's like, well, Lav, what about this? What about this? I think you don't speak. I think you're a snake. It's just, Lav, I advise you to not don't accept the terms of the conversation, even if you might win.
Well, who else joined?
No, this is.
Hi, Chaeiry.
Chaeiry. Hello. How's it going?
I was sitting in the back row. I wanted to.
Hey man, listen, I'm gonna just head out because I got some stretching to do, so I'm gonna leave you.
Well, Abba, this, you could use your insight.
Bye, Abba.
Stretch at the PC.
Hi, Chaeiry. Do you have any thoughts?
Any big thoughts?
I'm just catching up. What's going on?
Well, we're all just hanging out.
Yeah.
Totally relaxed. We've actually been singing Kumbaya and, been going great.
How you feel, Chaeiry? How you feeling right now?
I don't know how I'm feeling.
Like,
I'm still feeling like shit.
Why? What happened? What's going on?
Oh, Dan.
I f***ed up bigly last week, and just trying to figure out how to go back to being a normal person that didn't f*** up bigly.
Listen, everyone makes mistakes. You just kind of acknowledge it and move on. That's the best way.
Except for me. Except for me.
Well, you don't acknowledge it, right? Well, at least that's the perception from people.
What I do?
I don't know.
I've been forced to acknowledge more than anyone ever has in this orbit.
Hold on.
Wow.
Stop. Let's all stop.
That was a little hyperbolic.
A little bit. Okay.
But I think that people have put me to the fire a lot more than I think that it's far more frequent.
Have you ever seen there's like a really funny image, and it was on the Passion of the Christ, and it has Mel Gibson sitting down next to the actor that was playing Jesus Christ right there. You ever seen that one before? I can send it to you.
I know what you're
really
talking
good.
about.
Yeah. Okay. That's like you and Steven right now. It's a really good one. It's super funny.
I just want to acknowledge I haven't watched any of your content after August 8th, so I'm really not sure like what fire I put you up to.
Wait, how did Chaeiry get dragged into this? Wait, what?
Wait, I wasn't dragging Chaeiry into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're fine. Don't worry. Everybody's chill.
I do wonder what this whole obsession with accountability is.
Well, without acknowledging our mistakes, we can't learn from them and move on, right? We're just destined to continue making them over and over again.
Sure, but don't you think that there's a level of like personal introspection that someone does off stream?
Well, you would expect that to happen, but but actions kind of speak to that happening or not happening. Right?
I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think that it takes a long time to put something in action, especially if you're like me and have had, trouble with something. Like you can assume that I probably have had more trouble than just like the past 2 months with asserting my feelings or my thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense that if this is like a pattern I've had for a long time, that it would be hard to change in like 2 months, right?
Sure, but I think it would also be expectant from people that you would still continue to get shit over it if they did not see progress and you're a public figure doing that, right? So it certainly might take a long time, but you should also have the expectation that people are going to still have these similar views of you as change doesn't happen, because that's natural. You can't get out of it. So
I agree. And I think that that's normal and natural, but also I think that I can express how sad it is to get so much feedback constantly and then have to sift through all the real feedback and then just people saying that I should shut the fuck up forever and die. That's hard for anyone to do.
Do you discard feedback that you view as just being, I guess, unhelpful or that's not fitting your narrative of what's going on, I guess? Or
no, that's a complete mischaracterization.
Well, that's why I wasn't a mischaracterization. No. I was asking a question.
Yeah, so like I said, it's the ones that are like shut the fuck up forever and die that is like not actual feedback, right?
Sure.
So I think that I like reading the subreddit, and I still do, even though there's a lot of bad stuff in there, because I really like to sift through like what I could be changing to make myself more dynamic and like better at my job, essentially.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people have really good feedback, and some of it is even hurtful feedback, right? Some of it is said with like not like some of it is very harsh, and I still take it to mind. But it's the things that are like, she should just shut the fuck up and stuff her mouth with more cock, that I'm like, okay, how much do I take from this? Yeah,
like those just get thrown out. Like, yeah, you can't listen to those.
Yeah, what is the other feedback that you think is harder to swallow, but you think has some truth behind it?
I think that
the cock feedback sounds pretty hard to swallow, but
shut up.
I'm so sorry.
No, that was actually a really good setup. That was good. I think I don't know. I think I mean, obviously, like the personal stuff, like talking about like right now, one of the most upvoted things is me talking about how I struggle interpersonally with men.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like upvoted on the subreddit. It has nothing to do with anything that we've spoken about, but they're like, this person needs to not be online. This person needs to like be locked away and get immense help, where I'm like, oh geez, like this isn't like helpful at all. And it feels like it's just like a shitting contest on like, let's find everything that's wrong with her, like witch hunt.
What happened with you? Like I saw a clip, I think it was on the Reddit this morning, of you, I guess, reading messages from Melina, and what's happening with that whole thing right there? Because I haven't seen too much of your interaction. I kind of, I was talking to her a little bit. I thought some fun stuff, but it seems like there's actually some serious stuff going on there. Like, what's happening with all that?
Serious.
Well, I mean, we can find the clip. I don't know. It was just you were reading her messages.
Yeah, I don't think that's serious. I think that she was having an emotional response to me having an argument with her husband. I think that's perfectly normal and natural. It hasn't become like anything bigger.
Okay. So you guys are like on the same page. Everything's fine with that then?
Well, I've never spoken to her.
Stop letting him fish.
Wait, I'm just curious. Wait, you were reading DMs on a chat? Like,
no, it's DMs. Melina's posting messages in my chat room because she likes to make my life as difficult as possible. So.
I mean, you gotta type, honey. You gotta type. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that was like a.
Well, we shouldn't just call them emotional because they're text. You can't read that much into them, right?
Let's see if I got where's the link to these?
They were plentiful.
Okay.
I wish I wouldn't have read them.
Lav, if you had to pick someone in this group right now that you trust the most, who would it be?
Myself. I think probably Max and then Steven shortly after.
Max, do you want to answer that question? I'd love to hear your reply.
Who I trust the most?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an answer. Definitely it's between Steven and Lav, but depends on trust for what.
Mm-hmm. Chaeiry, do you have an answer?
Probably Steven.
Stardust?
Yes, Steven.
Dan, we know you're Steven, right?
I suppose so. I got the hours in, as they say. Well,
Steven,
certainly none of you guys. That's for goddamn sure.
Jesus.
What the hell?
Steven, you answer.
Understandable.
Probably Dan, just 'cause I've known him the longest.
And because I'm the most trustworthy, obviously.
You're trustworthy because if you fuck with me, I'll go to your house and...
Yeah, among reasons.
Fuck his pillow.
And I want you guys to all know that no amount of bitching, whining, anything will change that fact. I'm number one. You guys need to get in line, okay? You can't buy your way in. It's only hours, all right? And we're both getting old at the same rate of time. So every hour you put in, I put in another hour. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Why did you that, Brittany?
Well, a part of me is just gathering information. I guess I'm trying to figure out, what does everyone want from their interactions online? What are we all doing here? I want to have good conversations about good ideas. It seems like there's some friendships that could occur, which would be awesome. There's not a lot of trust in general, but there is a sense of trust, like Max said, depends on what kind of trust with what. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what would be the best case scenario? Like, I want to give you an out laugh for a lot of the mistakes, and then I want to hold you accountable if you want to be held accountable, I guess. I don't really care. But I think people in discussions, like, want some sort of, like, baseline for what is reality. And to do that, there would be a need to hold people either accountable or push them in a direction. So I'm trying to figure out if there's too much personal shit that's getting in the way of ideas, or if the ideas just aren't as interesting as the personal shit. And that's why we always end up back here. Because we're not attacking Lav for her ideas, really. We're attacking Lav for her character and her ideas.
Well, everybody, the problem... Well, okay, if we want to have this conversation, we can, but there's like 4 different conversations going on, and I think we have to be clear which one we're talking about, right?
Exactly. So I think that's the issue. If we all started, not over, but if we said, okay, we're all adults and we've all decided X, what is the X we could all decide together? Is there a way out of this, or are we just going to keep... Like, do you know what I'm saying? What's the solution? Is there a solution? Is there even a problem?
Well, yeah, what's the problem? Shut up.
Is there a problem? Does anyone feel like there's a problem right now? Lav? Chaeiry? Max?
Well, everybody probably has different problems for different reasons right now, right?
I got a big problem. Yeah, I'm here to confront Steven, but
yeah, we've all got problems. So Brittany, you don't have any problems in here. I think you're just an observer.
Problem.
Chaeiry's got a problem that she made a big mistake recently, and she probably feels pretty bad about it. It sounds like she's working on overcoming it. Dan's only problem here is trying to start more drama. I don't have any problems. I'm just here kind of chilling with everybody. Lav's got a problem that my community's shitting on her, and she feels like she's not being taken seriously by anybody. MrGirl's got...
No, that's not it.
Okay, don't care. MrGirl's got problems, and that obviously relating my subreddit in the way that moderation.
Personality that you don't have.
That wasn't an avoidant personality. I've already engaged with you for like 10 fucking hours over the past 2 days. I don't need to do it again. And Stardust obviously has issues related to her and Max's friendship deteriorating. And now she's in here, so everybody's got problems, but they're all of these things are kind of like for different reasons.
And I also fucked up.
Sure,
as well.
and she fucked up as well. Yeah. So everybody's here for like different reasons.
Steven, do you see how it could be damaging to my view of you being like very charitable, or like how I can like trust you or maintain a friendship with you when you say that like you don't care because you've heard it enough about my feelings?
No, what I'm saying is that like if we have another discussion over what your problems are, it's going to be another 45-minute conversation. I don't know if I want to head in that direction right now. If that makes you feel like you don't trust me or whatever, that's totally fine.
Okay. I also feel like you not caring about my feelings does another thing to our relationship, though.
If you feel like that's an indication of me not caring about your feelings, then we were never going to work as friends anyway, because I've shown above and beyond consideration for your feelings. If that one line in the middle of a conversation with 9 people was enough to turn you off from it, then that's totally fine with me as well.
Well, no, I'm not going from extreme to extreme. I'm trying to let you know, like when I go there, when I follow my train of thought out of like the hurt that I feel when I feel invalidated by you, like that's where I go. It's like,
sure, I understand. Broadly, all I was saying was that like part of your problem is that you feel like people aren't taking you seriously. Part of that is that feeling they're not taking the things you're saying seriously. They're not taking you seriously at 24. They're calling you retarded or whatever. I think that's an okay summary of like your problems. It's not like an in-depth like 24-page paragraph or page essay about like why you feel bad. It was just a quick summary over things. No.
No, I would. I think that that's like maybe adjacent to it, but I'd say that I would not say that is it.
Okay, well, now...
All right, listen.
No, stop! Let her... Go ahead. Tell us what your problem is. Go ahead, then. Explain for the class.
Well, I think it ties into, like, what Max is going to say, and I think that he's thought about it more than I have, because I try not to think about this too much. But
he's thought about your problem more?
No, because I have a very similar problem to Max.
I think the battleground of the problem is different, but my problem with the subreddit or the way it's moderated is that it feels like it's part of a system of discrediting me and other orbiters, making us look bad, and that not intentionally, but it feels like you run into like a brick wall at a certain point, and I feel like Lav is saying something similar, but it's more playing out in these conversations.
Mostly, like, especially because I think Steven, I think that it's hard. Like, I care about the subreddit, obviously, because it like hurts my feelings, but also I don't have to read it. But then when in real time, you're trying to make me look like young, dumb, stupid, and like crazy and abusive. Like a lot of in our conversation yesterday, you said that I was like gaslighting you, and so now it's been like now everyone in your subreddit was like, yeah, she was gaslighting him. Like when you were asking me to be more careful about what like my implications of you, and then you could just like completely shit on me and then not realize how that was going to affect how your audience treated me is like very strange.
Okay, oh, go ahead.
Whereas I don't think that you have full responsibility for that. I would just like you to be more aware of it.
Okay.
Because I don't think that you need to do anything vastly different, but I think that you could probably be a little more careful with my feelings and the control over you that you have over my reputation. But I think that today you have been very sweet to me, so I think that you've probably acknowledged that you could do better also in your own time. So I think that we're off to a good start, but I just wanted to correct you.
Have you been corrected, Steven?
Stop! Okay, am I clear to talk? Okay. When I mention you being young, dumb, and crazy or anything like that, that's not a way of discrediting what you're saying. It's a way of explaining away a lot of the stuff you say that is highly contradictory and ultra irrational, okay? So there's either two ways that I could approach what you're saying. I could either say like, she's young, she's figuring things out, it's like part of like going through huge life changes, it's part of being a young person, that's all of good. Or I can say, her age actually isn't an excuse, she's an absolute fucking moron. I can't believe she's saying the stuff that's as stupid as she's saying. There's only two branching paths that can go. Now, it might sound...
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's to say. Well, it might sound like I'm insulting you.
Well, you said
and
I was manipulating
I
you
am going to
yesterday.
finish. You talked so much, and I wrote it down, and I was so patient, letting you finish each and every single one of your addendums. Okay, let me think. Okay, so when I'm dealing with you as a person, okay, the way that I treat you is you're a young person going through a highly transitionary stage in your life, and you're trying to figure out like what the new rules of your life are, because you lived by a prior set of rules, and obviously those didn't serve you well. Either something traumatic happened, or over time you realize this sucks, and now you're trying to figure out like, well, what is the new rule book going over, what can I incorporate, et cetera, et cetera. That's right. That's a young person's journey, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, and I've said that a million fucking times. The reason why I talk to you is because it's interesting listening to this, blah 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 blah. It's the same reason I talk to Sneako. Now people are more harsh on you than Sneako for a variety of reasons, mostly because you're a woman, but I have these types of conversations with people. And it's just it is what it is. Okay, so when I call you young, or I say you're going through things, not because I'm trying to discredit your ideas. If anything, I'm externalizing like some of the blame on some of what you're saying on the fact that you're young and you're transitioning. Number one, okay? Number two, okay? When I said that you were gaslighting, I'm trying to remember specifically what I said in regards to this was when you say things, they have undeniable connotations such that if you were to poll an audience, 99+% of them would say like, oh, she's obviously being highly critical of him. She's obviously implying this about him here. And then for you to come on in front of me and then to do this and say, I don't know how you could think that feels incredibly manipulative to me. Maybe it's not intentional, but the feeling is that of incredible manipulation. That I can listen to something and I know 99% of people are gonna hear it. It's like, oh, obviously she's saying Steven is like a social retard, that he can't be considerate of her feelings. Obviously she's saying that. And then for you to come in front of me like, oh no, I didn't mean that at all. That's not even close. Feels incredibly manipulative. So that's why I use the term gaslighting there, okay? When you say control over my reputation, I mean like, to some extent that is true, but like I try really hard in our conversations to present what you're saying in the most positive. I try to steelman what you're saying. Like you don't have to come onto my platform. I'm not sniping stuff that you do. Like I'm never being like, well, we're gonna watch this Lav VOD today where she was a total dumb bury this bitch. Okay, I've never done anything like that ever. You've come onto my stream when I've invited you or when you've invited yourself, and that's totally fine, and I enjoy that. That's fun for me. So the phrase of like control over my reputation sounds a little weird there, but okay. And then when you say today, I'm finished. I'm gonna if you're gonna talk for a long time, I'm gonna respond for a long time. Okay. And then you said today you've been sweet to me, so you've acknowledged privately you can do better. This is how I've always treated you. The only exception was yesterday or the day before, whenever the fuck I called you a dumb bitch, or last week or whatever, was when I was trying to explain stuff and you kept interrupting me over and over and over and over and over again, while also being ultra aggressive to every other person in the call. And then when I started to explain something that wasn't even controversial and you were cutting me off in the middle of it, I lost my mind, because it's easily the most triggering thing you could ever possibly do to a person. Okay, but aside from that, I've always treated you like pretty respectfully, pretty kindly. I talk to you privately, and I'm generally pretty nice to you. Okay, that was all. Okay.
I think that's true. I also think that it would have been nice.
You think what's true? What about what he just said is true?
Like I think that I like triggered him and that he had like an emotional response.
Okay, that's true. That's inarguably true. But is it also true that you are extremely irrational?
No, I don't think so.
Is it true that you're either a moron or that you're young, and it's one or the other, or like basically that you for some reason you can't think, and it's one of these two choices?
No, I think that I can think.
Okay, I'm just saying before you fucking agreed but like you said I feel discredited, and then he gave a long explanation as to why you basically can't think, why your ideas and things you say don't have value or merit, and then you're like, yeah, I agree. So I just like, I don't know, be careful about what you're agreeing to.
I didn't agree with that. I didn't take notes, and there was a lot there. So I didn't agree with that. But I still think like in response to you having like control over my reputation, and I understand like having an emotional response to me. And honestly, I would have felt a lot better about you calling me like a stupid bitch, whatever, if you would have been like, fuck stream, maybe I shouldn't have done that. She really pissed me off, but I probably shouldn't have called her that.
I will never say that about you while you're also insulting other people incredibly hardcore. Like when you're going off on Chaeiry, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I still don't. Like I'm not gonna feel bad about like, I'm sorry, but like you can't bring that type of aggressive energy and then get that upset when somebody like matches it.
Sure, but I think that you should also see the nuance, because like if you looked at your chat after that, or if you looked at your subreddit after that, it was like pages and pages of people just repeating dumb bitch, dumb bitch, dumb bitch, dumb bitch, which is like, okay, at some point it's like, yeah, you're allowed to respond that way to me, but when it then just becomes an echo chamber of like everyone who wants to like you know, in-group signal about hating me, that just becomes like a little masturbatory, and I don't think that you should allow something like that.
I mean, everybody already hates you on my subreddit, so like I don't think that changed things much, but...
Well, I definitely
I think
saw
there's
a difference.
Lav calling Chaeiry a dumb bitch does not have the same effect as you calling Lav a dumb bitch, because you
also
have
true.
way more power than her.
I don't care. Hold on, wait, hold on. I don't care. If somebody's going to come onto my stream,
that's my whole
no, hold on. If you think you care about that, then you're engaging in a social dynamic that is unsustainable and is never going to be agreed to by anybody else in any other circumstance ever. If you want to come and engage on my platform, you're totally welcome to do so, but I'm not going to let you get away with markedly worse behavior because you're a smaller person. In the way earlier that you said that I tried to discredit Lav by calling her irrational, you're trying to baby her by saying she's a smaller streamer. So of course she can act in that way. She's just a small streamer. Yeah, that is exactly what you said. Now, if you want to restate what you said, that's fine. Hold on. No, hold on. You can't just say, no, you didn't say that. You exactly said, let me repeat verbatim. You said, Destiny, when you call Lav this name, it has a much different effect than when Lav calls Chaeiry that name. You're arguing for a different type of treatment because of the size or reputation of the two figures, and I'm telling you that that is something I will never accept on my stream.
I'm telling you that I think you're abdicating your responsibility.
So Lav doesn't have that responsibility? Why?
Lav does not have because you are in charge of the community. That they're all your fans. It's playing to a much larger audience of your fans than anybody else's.
It doesn't matter. Lav is still contributing to that community and that conversation the same way that I am.
She is, but there's a different effect when you call someone a dumb bitch. It has a way different effect on the person you're saying it to than it does when she says it. It's like you're like Superman and you're fighting a normal person and you think the same rules should apply to you, but I don't agree.
We're not arguing necessarily.
I want to know why. Is it because he has more subscribers, or because he's a man? Because he's smarter than her? Why?
It's his platform, so it's his.
I don't think
Steven's
smarter than Lav.
I just don't understand why.
I don't think Lav's smarter than Steven. I just don't. I'm not. I don't think. I don't agree to the narrative that Lav is dumb. Okay.
Okay, we're all.
I think Steven and Lav are both very intelligent people.
That's because Max is going to have some incredibly esoteric version definition
no, it's not
of what dumb.
It's not esoteric.
Okay, wait. Do you think that she's as smart as? Do you think that she's going to be smarter when she's 30 years old than she is now, or would you not say smarter?
I would hope so.
You are.
So.
No. I need you to answer that question so that everybody in the audience can hear that using a ridiculous definition of dumb and stupid and intelligent, so we can move on from that. So I'm asking you a very pointed question: is Lav going to be smarter at 30 than she is at 24?
Lav is going to be smarter at I don't know. She'll be wiser.
Okay. I just wanted to get it out there then that you're like totally randomly using words. But okay, go for it. Now make your point.
I'm not randomly using words. I'm saying that I think if you both took an IQ test, I think maybe you would score.
No one here is talking about IQ tests, and she's got Ashkenazi fucking Jewish blood, so it's not fair to compare us. Okay, I'm working on some Hispanic shit. Okay, I'm literally debuffed at birth.
I'm Mexican. I'm half Mexican.
So okay, whatever Brittany said meant when she said smart, I assume she meant smart at navigating these types of conversations and interactions.
No, she probably means intelligent in terms of like having figured life out in general.
It sounds to me, Max, and I could be wrong, but it sounds like you're trying to make the argument that Abba was trying to make, but from the other perspective, that Steven's positioning puts Lav at a disadvantage, so he has to act accordingly so Lav doesn't get thrown under the bus. But again, that puts the responsibility on who? Steven, taking the responsibility away from
Lav. That's not what I'm saying. Steven, in some ways, is our boss.
What the fuck? Speak for yourself.
He can't do shit.
Steven is our boss, and he's also our friend, but he's our boss. And that creates a lot of weird social dynamics because he's not just the boss of when you can come on his stream and make money and grow your platform. He's the boss of you that way. But he's also in charge of the community's narrative about you. He controls what people think of you to a large degree. So if you're having a conversation with Steven offline and he calls you a dumb bitch and you call him a dumb bitch, then yeah, blows are exchanged, nothing happens. But it's like the fucking president calling you a dumb bitch. When he calls you a dumb bitch on stream, the community of people, this very large community who are very attached to Steven and his beliefs and the way he sees things, it changes your public existence when he says something like that.
Do you think,
and it just doesn't have that effect.
So stupid?
No, I think Steven. So no, I'm not calling anybody stupid or smart. I'm only responding to people calling Lav stupid.
But when you argue against him and you haven't convinced him, do you think that that's his fault or do you think it's your fault?
Anyway, I
don't think it's anybody's fault. I'm saying that I think Steven. I think Steven does not acknowledge.
Creator is like his fault. Not
a lot of the public
debate him.
I mean,
a lot of
we're
the
all
public
here
controversy
voluntarily,
around
right?
a lot of the public controversy around Steven is people telling him that he's not responsible. I think this is a pretty obvious through line of people saying you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't talk to this person, you shouldn't talk this way, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, and him saying I don't fucking care, fuck you, go. I'm not here to be responsible.
A lot of people, or can this just be your criticism?
It's not. I reject your question because you're asking me if I'm not saying things because I need them to be true. This is actually what I think. I can give examples, but I feel like it feels like a fake question. So let's just assume that if you don't think that a lot of people have told Steven he's irresponsible, then that's fine. If you don't think that, then I'm just a crazy person. I think that part of Steven's appeal is that he is not responsible. I think people like that about him. People like that he will have chicken and waffles with Fuentes, and then I play the opposite character saying, oh, like shaking my finger, you shouldn't be doing this. I think people like that he will defend saying the N-word. I think people will like that he'll make the comments about the dipshit protesters. People like watching him fly off the handle, watching him do things that other creators would call irresponsible. And he usually has a defense for it and an explanation that is consistent with his views on this. However, I think that I'm asking him to be more responsible now with this topic. I think that he is irresponsible when he talks to you like you're equals and attacks you as you would an equal when you're not.
So in what way aren't they equals? That's where talk to me like I'm stupid. I don't get it. Are they either both? That's what I'm saying. Are they not the same? Are they the same?
No. So it's in the eyes of like the audience who sees Steven as someone who is like the person that they watch on stream every day, and we are like orbiters.
But I don't have that much sway necessarily over their opinions about you.
No,
guys.
not you're not wholly responsible.
Like if that was the case, Lav, my community was shitting you relentlessly when I was unbelievably charitable to you for a long time. I think this gets to the heart of what Chaeiry was asking, and that like it seems like if I have a negative reaction to you, everything negative on the sub all of a sudden becomes my responsibility when it couldn't have been anything that you could have possibly said.
Okay, your sub's current policy is to ban fans of mine.
Yeah, so but it's an extra insane shit that just happened.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm just saying it's a because I ratcheted up tension, it has.
No, it's because specifically because you declared a war on the subreddit and people started going crazy and supposing. But I don't know if I've ever banned the fans of anybody else on my subreddit before. Like this just particular scenario got like really weird.
That's fine, but to me it just seems like a logical extension of what was already happening. I'm glad it's now out in the open, but it has felt to me for a long time of you get to reframe in the argument. You get to talk whenever you want. Like there's an assumption on a stream with you that when Steven has something to say, everybody else should shut up because it's your stream, and we're guests in your house. Then after we leave, you get to talk to everybody for as long as you want about the conversation, and we don't really get to do that. We can go on a stream and like Lav can co-host my hotline show, and we can talk about it. But your fans don't see that. The majority, 99% of people are not going to see that. They see what you say. So you get the.
So am I not allowed to have conversations with? Do I just have to basically treat my platform as like a public property to all of you guys, and then like I'm guaranteed you have the right to post whatever you want on my subreddit. You have the right to me not talking about anything afterwards.
No. Okay, then that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, that's what it sounds like. But
no. I just think you really don't like the idea of. I think you feel like you're being guilt tripped or something when if I say that I think you're like being irresponsible with our reputations.
Can I ask him? I'm so sorry.
Wait. He just asked me what I want, so I want to answer this one question. No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is I want you to acknowledge the power differential and keep it in mind when you're talking to us and when you're
talking to you. Who do you mean us?
All of us. When you're talking to someone who has less power. Here's what I want. Okay, here's what I want. Max Carson, aka MrGirl. I want when Steven is talking to someone who has less power than him, which is most of his conversations, when he's talking to an orbiter, and that includes all of you.
Absolutely not.
I have his op.gg.
Shut up.
when Steven is talking to someone who has less power than him, even if that person does not want this, even if a 13-year-old wants to have sex with their teacher, I still think that the power differential should be acknowledged. And I think that, Steven, what I plead with you to do is to think about and acknowledge the power differential when
no, that's
you're
not
in these
true.
conversations.
That's not what you're asking.
And when you're discussing the conversation.
That's not
so
what you're asking. Don't lie. I know there's a power differential to some extent, of course. You're not asking me to acknowledge it. You're asking me to change a behavior. Get to what you're actually asking for. Because if I just say, oh,
Yes.
okay, I do acknowledge it, and then nothing's going to change, you wouldn't be happy. So you're not asking for you to acknowledge, like, are you a bigger streamer than the people you talk about? Of course I am. Obviously, I know that.
Well, I said I want you to acknowledge it in your assessment. So the behavior that would change just now is when you're saying, oh, I called you a dumb bitch, but you called Chaeiry a dumb bitch. That doesn't make any sense if you acknowledge the power differential.
Hold on.
If you kept this,
now,
if you kept that
okay.
in mind, you would not compare these two things at all.
So no, hold on, real quick. Now we're getting to what you're saying. So you're trying to say that because the power differential exists, and then you move on to the prescriptions, you say people on your platform get to act dramatically different than what you're allowed. Yes! How are you saying no? You're saying that Lav is allowed to call
what
somebody...
I'm saying, you're chipping away what I'll tell you the prescriptions. I love telling you what to do. If you want me to tell you what to do, I'll fucking tell you. When you are talking about someone calling someone a bitch on your stream, don't compare that person to you. Don't defend your behavior by comparing it to an orbiter's behavior. It's like totally unacceptable to me. You shouldn't do that.
Okay, and that's good. And I totally disagree with you. I don't think that just because somebody comes on here, they're the smallest streamer, they can get away with anything they want because they're the smallest streamer. I totally disagree with that. So if somebody's going to be on here, they're going to call somebody a bitch a million times, I'm going to call them a bitch. And just because we have a power differential doesn't mean that I'm going to say, I'm going to reconsider.
Those are opposites. Those are opposite points. I'm not saying Lav should be able to call people a bitch. I'm saying you can't. And the reason you can't is not the same reason that Lav can't. So it may be true that maybe both of you shouldn't.
Okay, I disagree, but I understand what you're saying. I totally disagree, but okay.
Okay, but if Lav, the argument you're making is you're saying Lav can't, but you can because she did.
No, Lav can. If she wants to call people a bitch, she can do it all day. I'm okay with rolling around in the mud. But if you're going to roll in the mud, I'm going to roll around with you. That's it. But you're saying I can't because I'm too big for the pig pen.
Yes. Exactly.
And I disagree. If somebody else wants to do it, I'm actually fine. We can get like a little bit more rowdy if you want to do that. That's fine. But somebody doesn't have permission to get rowdy, and I can't because I'm a bigger streamer.
Yeah, so like on Twitch before he got banned, what people would suggest is that if you don't feel like you can handle a platform debating Destiny, you should start on the smaller panels. You should go on prime.
It's not about debating. It's not that he's debating people. It's that he's denigrating people.
Yeah,
No,
it's not.
he's
It's
not
like the personal.
denigrating.
Yes, it is. It's like the personal stuff. It's like the calling me dumb. It's the allowing people to post stuff about my personal relationships in his subreddit. Like,
wait, hold on. Allowing people to post.
He does not control the little people on the internet.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. I do control my subreddit though. Hold on.
can.
If people are posting weird doxy information or some shit on your subreddit, I think if I saw those posts, I would ban those posts. Are these popping up a lot?
Preventing them from being posted, that's not something you can do.
No, I can't. Obviously, I can't do that. But if I see it, I would ban it. But
yeah, I mean, well, there's that video that I just told you about that has like a bunch of upvotes from the last 24 hours. That's
like
a
public stream. You did talking on your shit. Where how is that doxing or anything like inappropriate?
No, but what does that have to do with anything? It's inappropriate because it's being used to paint me as like a mentally ill abuser. And after the stream where you said that I was a Darvo in elicitor and I'm manipulative, and then they're posting shit like that, you've got to fucking know that you are setting the stage for something like that.
No,
Steven. That is not debate criticism. That's not debate criticism about my views or my opinions on sex work or anything. That is like extremely personal denigration that is meant to discredit my character as a person.
Okay, you can't say wait, stop real quick. Okay, hold on. If you're doing a public stream, will you talk about your need to, what was it about, like manipulating men or whatever?
No. It's a public stream, but it's reframed to make me look like an abuser.
You're the one. You've literally gone onto a stream after all of these. Like, when was this stream? When did you do this? Was this?
What?
When were those comments made by you?
Like a month, like
2 weeks ago.
No, it was
more
like
than 2 weeks ago.
No,
right?
What are you talking about, Chaeiry?
That stream in your pajamas.
In my pajamas was a month ago. With me, and
Sounds
it was
like
me
it might have
talking.
been 2 weeks
And
ago.
it was me talking about how I struggled.
That's like a big thing for me. Is I
to
need
think
to
that
make...
a man was like gonna save me from myself, and then they reframe
obsessed
that
with
as
me.
like
I need to have that power over them.
she's getting all the simps, like she's getting like they completely framed it in a way that it
I don't understand how you can make statements like this on your stream and then get surprised when people like reframe it. Like you're making pretty extreme statements here.
No, I'm not surprised that they're making them. I'm surprised that you're not protecting your orbiters from people doing that or telling them that's not okay.
Wait, why would Destiny or Steven need to protect grown adults from their own fucking choices?
Because he has more power.
No, it's not from my own choice.
No, wait, listen, stop with this power differential.
One question for MrGirl. Would you want Destiny to have the same standard of civility for Nick Fuentes as you want for Lav?
Nick Fuentes is not Destiny's orbiter. So, no. There's not a sense of... I don't think Steven has a responsibility to every single person who comes on his stream. And I think that the public perception of Fuentes... Fuentes has a lot more control over that. So I think it makes sense to be able to go a little bit harder on him. But at a certain point, yeah, I do. I don't think, like even right now, the way Steven is talking to Lav, I don't think he should do to anybody. Like like giving a long, like it just wouldn't fly. The opposite wouldn't fly. You would never let Lav give a 3-minute speech about how you're either stupid or young.
I literally, dude, she goes off so much, and I let her talk so much. Am I going f***ing crazy? You are gaslighting me now. I just let her do a whole thing where I tried to come in 3 times and I let her finish. You are so wrong. I can't even believe you would say that. Like, people on stream are literally, I'm pretty sure Dan is laughing in the background when she goes on, and I'm like, okay, I'll let her finish, I'll let her finish. And now he's saying, you would never let Lav go off like that. What?
I don't think you would let her give a speech about how you're stupid.
I don't know. It would depend on the context, but she's given plenty of speeches like where she's dramatically disagreeing with things that I'm saying or making implications about me and Chaeiry or whatever. Like,
but I don't think she would give a speech. I don't think you would let her get. I think you would go stop.
I don't think I've ever gone off for 3 minutes about how she's stupid.
You just did. I said, I think that Steven discredits you on stream. And then you said, well, hold on, let me explain. I'm only discrediting you because you say things that are completely irrational all the time. And the hyper-irrational things you say can only be explained by either you're immature and you're making, and we're going to give you that
This
excuse,
is a childlike understanding.
This
is a childlike understanding of what I'm saying.
You're not even going to let me finish, or you're a moron. Wait, stop. Let me finish. If Lav started a speech with, you're hyper-irrational, let me explain, you would not let her finish.
It would depend on the context, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how she could get away with saying that. If you want, I could flip it and I could treat her like you need to have life fucking figured out and your shit needs to be consistent. Because right now, if we were to go through every statement Lav has made about sex work, she would get eviscerated. She's made so many contradictory statements, it would be impossible to keep track of the contradictions. You could make a whole Google Doc on all this, but my explanation for that is not that I think that Lav is some bad faith, horribly moronic actor. I just think she's young and figuring shit out. You call that discrediting. I call that explaining why there are so many contradictions in her political positions. If you want to claim that, then that's fine, but you're just wrong. And the alternative treatment that you're asking for would be way more harsh. If I were to come down on her as though you should have all this shit figured out, if you don't, I'm going to crucify you on every contradiction?
I don't think you should make speeches about whether your orbiters are retarded or young.
It's not about being okay. Then you're so wrong. Hold on, no, hold on. You're so wrong. You're just so wrong because that is the only possible explanation that I can give for all of the inconsistency in Lav's explanations. Should I just not say anything about that and let everybody assume that she actually is is totally politically incoherent?
Okay.
There's so many other things you could say.
Name one thing. Name one other thing.
Okay, to explain what?
How her political positions can be so off the wall and inconsistent.
Off the wall. What have I had that is
extremely off the wall? Didn't you very publicly switch from being conservative to being more progressive?
Yeah, it's happened over the course of like 10 years, but yes.
Okay, so you can identify with that. So if you want to like to discuss this, but in a way that your audience is going to be able to empathize with and understand and say, look, you guys are really holding Lav's feet to the fire, but let's not forget, I made an even bigger switch.
I literally said exactly this. What are you talking about?
Okay. So
hold on. Wait, we're talking about you, Lav.
Then leave. Wait.
I just want to say something really quick.
Okay.
I do obviously. So I'm somewhere in between Steven and Max. Fence sitting, lol. I don't listen. This is what I think. I think that I've put myself here with my own actions to some extent. I think that I would appreciate if you could protect me a little more from people making like personal jabs at me or denigrating me in a way that is not critiquing me. I would like you to maybe like make it on your subreddit like a reason that people don't like me other than like I love women so much, I love women. Like actual critique would be really helpful other than just like virtue signaling to each other that I'm like the most hated person alive. I think that would be really cool. But ultimately I think when I enter your space, I'm playing by your rules in your house, and I respect that, and I don't expect you to overextend yourself to me in any way, because I knew what it was when I entered the house. Obviously, Max disagrees with that because he thinks that you have like more responsibility than I think that you have. I think that I can both be. I don't think that the reasons why I've wavered are because I'm dumb, or even because I'm young, but more that I'm just like maybe more adaptable and it rubs people the wrong way. I don't know. It could possibly, that could not be the reality. Also, I could just be retarded. I'm not particularly attached to the fact of me being the smartest person alive. I'm just happy to be here, happy to have tough conversations, happy to have hard conversations.
Lav, real quick, could you
Why are we
give some
sidetracking even
actionable...
more? Really?
Actionable...
Max made some really huge statements, and now we're gonna go off on a random other tangent?
Right.
No.
Okay,
no,
so to be clear, no, I'm not blaming you, Lav. I'm blaming Dan, okay? So, Max, when people talk about me having made changes politically, when I talk about myself making changes politically, I say literally, I say literally the exact same shit that I say about Lav. Destiny used to be super progressive, right? What happened? I grew the f up. I gathered more life experiences, and I realized, hey, there's a lot of things that I cared about being a conservative, but now I kind of realized being a little bit older and having some more experiences that like, yeah, actually, I was super wrong on these things. And now that I have the life experience, I totally changed my mind on it. I think a thing that I've said a million times to my audience is like, man, you know, one of the worst fucking things about me being young is I bet even if I time traveled and spoke to myself in the past, I wouldn't even be able to convince myself of how wrong or dumb I was about some ideas. I think I've literally even said in this stream that if I started streaming when I was 18 or 19, I thought I was a anime main character villain. So yeah, I've actually denigrated myself personally multiple times related to my age. To say that I'm doing something unique to Lav is absolutely not true.
Okay, wait, you asked me what I thought you could say. And here my answer is, since you have changed your mind about things, I think that you can frame it in a way that is not you calling her retarded. Now,
that's what I've done.
Even if you've denigrated yourself as immature and said you grew the fuck up, you have definitely every right to.
I do this all the time with Lav. Have you ever listened to me talk about her ever? Whenever you could go on this stream multiple times and be like, why do you even talk? I think even Abba even said it earlier. Why do you talk to her? What's the point of talking to her? No, hold on. I just want to literally. Okay, you're not saying I don't do this.
I'm not saying that you don't. I'm not saying that you don't say nice things about her.
No, not nice things. I specifically say this is why I think she is where she is, and I think she's growing.
I'm not saying that you haven't said this. I'm saying that I think this should be the only thing that you say about Lav's inconsistency, rather than saying that maybe she's a moron.
I don't think I've ever said she's a moron. And no, I explicitly say I don't think she's dumb. I don't think she's stupid. In fact, I think I even
said there's only two
Yes, there are only two explanations. She's either young and figuring out, or like you're saying, she's actually retarded. Those are the only two options.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have another option where you don't have to define her.
I have to. What do you mean? We're having conversations on stream about our positions, and a lot of them are incredibly incoherent. I need to explain the incoherency.
The only reason we're having a conversation on stream about her positions is because she came in to talk to you about something she said about you.
That doesn't relate to anything that we're talking about whatsoever. I don't understand how that.
Okay, the conversation started because she came on my stream and said stuff about you and your relationship with me, which you guys argued about yesterday and then continue to argue about today. And somehow, along the way, that turns into a trial about whether Lav has credibility and whether she's inconsistent, whether she's a snake, whether she can think before she talks, and you said either whether she's immature or she's a moron. These ideas all came from different people in different places, but the system discredited her. She said something about you, and then somehow there's no discussion of whether the thing she said about you is true or fair, or why she said it really has been able to take place without her being also discredited. So I don't think there's really a reason why you need to be making pronouncements about whether Lav is stupid or not.
It's about explaining why I have the conversations I do with her when it seems like a lot of her political positions are relatively incoherent. I have to be able to provide an explanation for that incoherency, because there's going to be a clear difference in the metal of conversations, the types of conversations I have with her versus other more politically thought out figures. And the way that I explain that is the way I've said multiple times. And I think I've literally snapped at people on my stream before who's called Lav stupid. I've literally explicitly said, Lav is not dumb. I've talked to plenty. You can go talk to the Miami girls if you want to see what a dumb fucking girl looks like. I wouldn't waste my time talking to her if she was stupid. I've explicitly pushed back against that over and over and over again. So if you to say that I'm like treating her like a retard or whatever, I don't think that's true. Or if you say I'm saying she can only be retarded or young, that is true. She's young and she's figuring shit out. I think that's a more than acceptable explanation for why she is the way that she is.
You push back against it sometimes, but Abba came in and said, you don't think. You didn't push back then. You just said, here, what?
Because that was based off of her own words. That was what Abba was criticizing her. She literally said, oh, I haven't thought about these positions all the way through. And Abba's position was, why are you bringing somebody on that's so undecided about their political position? And then I explained it. So, well, she's thinking through them. She's like going through a transitionary phase in her life, and she'll figure it out. That's what I trust that she's doing.
I understand, but he framed it harshly.
Yeah, of course he framed it harshly because that's the type of character that she is. Yeah, of course he was. And I was explaining why I don't think she's stupid. I think she's just young. Or this is why she's stupid, because she's young. Rather than she's just like a dumb fuck.
On it. You didn't push back on Abba.
I don't know what if this is. I don't want to. I don't know how to explain this. You're just.
Can I please just
Dan
say
called her.
I gotta go.
Dan called her a snake, and you didn't push back. On
that was
it.
I can't push back. I'm not here to defend her against every single claim that every single person makes in here. The broad one of why I speak with her is that I don't think she's stupid. I snapped at people on my stream that's called her stupid, and I've never characterized her as being stupid ever. Never done that. Because I don't think she's stupid. I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't
Except
even.
when you called her a dumb bitch.
No, hold on. Me saying that you're a dumb bitch was not an indictment of her intelligence because she fucking cut me off over and over and over again in the middle of a fucking statement. I was like, shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. That was what I said. I don't think anybody heard that. I was like, oh my God, Steven really does think she's unintelligent. Now I know that she's grabbed onto this idea of like, oh my God, that was him truly saying that that I'm not intelligent, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. I don't even think she feels that way. And I don't think anybody in my audience heard it that way. I think they heard me snapping at her in the middle because she was cutting me off over and over and over again. And if you listen to the 400 other times her intelligence is brought up on stream or in conversations, I've always snapped at people that have called her stupid. I've never characterized her as being dumb. Sorry, I'm done screaming. I think Brittany wanted to say something too. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say something so I can fucking leave and go to Walmart. Jesus Christ. I don't understand why Max and Lav need you to protect them or be their father or anything else. But Steven, I swear to God, if you think you're my boss, this is going to ruin my whole illusion of you being my bottom.
Okay, well, I am the boss of you, so that's okay.
Max, I don't understand why you and Lav are so eager to give over your power to some gamer boy on the internet.
Fuck you.
Like, as nice as he is and as beautiful as he is, I don't know why you're so eager to like tell, like, why. I don't understand. You're an adult. I'm an adult. Lav's an adult. Like, I don't care how many viewers Steven has. Either I can take it or I can't. Sure, it hurts my feelings sometimes when the Reddit goes off, but that's the internet. And then you get through it, you stick around for a few months, and people warm up to you and they move on. Like, it's literally just the internet. Steven even warned me this would happen, that his Reddit's gonna hate me, then they're gonna be fine again. Okay. So like, why do you think you need Steven's like to help, like to be your parent?
I reject the premise of your question.
Fair.
Yeah, can I ask a question? What makes somebody an orbiter?
A significant power differential where your career depends on Steven's career, and your opportunity for growth and exposure depends on Steven allowing you to stay in his good graces.
Oh wait, so I'm not an orbiter, to be clear, because I've had a career for 12 years on my own, right? So is that correct?
Yeah, it's different with you.
Okay, then I'm good. Thanks guys for the convo. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
You're my favorite orbiter.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hi. Okay, can I say something quickly? I kind of just been watching the sidelines. This isn't really my drama, but I kind of want to respond back to what Brittany said earlier. Like, I feel like Max and Lav are just trying to absolve their responsibility for their actions and how people perceive them by giving that responsibility to Steven, right? It feels kind of obvious that's what's going on. And I understand that you're talking about like how there's like power differentials and like that.
Why don't you talk to me directly? Let's do this. Let's have this conversation. Why don't you talk to me directly and I'll respond directly?
I mean, I guess yeah. Okay, I'll talk to you directly.
Pxie.
Huh?
It's nice to see you on stream. I've seen some of your old content.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks, Chaeiry.
Go, stop wasting girl time. Go. Talk.
Okay. Max, do you feel entitled to be in Destiny's stream or to have conversation with Destiny or to be able to have a say on what goes on to his subreddit?
No.
No.
I have
okay.
No, I have boundaries around it though. If I'm part of the community, I'm part of the stream, and I think to a large degree I am, then I have needs and wants that I am going to express. And if they are not met, then yeah, I will declare war. We'll have conflict. And then if the conflict doesn't go my way, then I don't know. I mean, like I don't expect Steven to just immediately agree with what I'm saying, especially if I'm saying it in public. But no, I don't feel entitled to be on his stream. Absolutely not, or even to be in his subreddit now.
Okay,
but it's a if-then statement. Like, if we're going to be collaborators, if we're going to work together, if I'm going to be on his stream, if we're going to be friends, like I can be friends with Steven even if he's like professionally shitty to me. Like that doesn't matter, but it hurts more. It does make me feel like, well, what the f, we're friends and I'm banned from your subreddit and you're not going to unban me. Like, what the f is your problem? Like, it pisses me off. But no, I don't feel entitled now.
But, okay, this is funny because you're saying you don't feel entitled, but you are displaying signs of entitlement, right? You are saying, oh, I expect to be treated this certain way and I want to be treated this certain way, and that is a level of entitlement. You expect
it's like a workplace. Like, if I work at Walmart, I expect to not be sexually harassed. That doesn't mean I feel entitled to work at Walmart.
Isn't your boss at the end of the day? You assign that responsibility to him right now, but he, at the end of the day, he's not the one who is actually sending you paychecks. Your own community is. So it's extremely unfair that you're deciding that Destiny has that.
That's somewhat true, but that's somewhat true. But it's also true that Steven controls my exposure, especially now that I'm banned from YouTube. He controls my exposure and income to a pretty big degree, and I don't have that kind of control over his exposure or income really at all. So that's why I'm using the word boss. So again, to bring it back to the question you just asked me, I don't want to sound like I'm doing a looping MrGirl thing where I'm explaining the same thing 20 times. So as soon as you understand this, please just let me know. I'm not entitled to work at Walmart, but if I do work at Walmart, I expect to be treated a certain way, or I'm going to complain or stop working at Walmart.
Okay, I guess this is what I think is funny. Or not funny is the wrong way to put it. Odd, strange, whatever.
Okay.
Did Steven ever ask you for him to be your boss?
No.
No, right. So you basically decided Steven is your boss, or you put yourself in a position where he is greatly influencing your income or your exposure, et cetera, et cetera. So this is more like if you decided one day to be an employee of Walmart despite Walmart never hiring you, and then getting upset that Walmart is not treating you the way that you want to be treated, even though they never hired you.
How long has this been going? Jesus Christ.
About 3 minutes. Welcome. I think that while it's true that Orbiter and Streamer, this relationship is formed organically and there's no official hiring process, I still maintain that the relationship does exist. There is a term for it, Orbiter. We all know what that means. I'm saying boss being somebody's Orbiter is a form of working for them, working with them, working for them, collaborating with them. But like, yeah, if you're collaborating with somebody has way more power than you and is way bigger than you, has way more money than you, makes way more money than you, then they have power over you.
Max, where did Steven touch you, Max?
Stop, Zerga, you're gone.
No,
get him out of here.
The amount of sycophantic bootlicking in this call is going to demonstrate.
No, okay, that was Zerga. That was Zerga doing Zerga things. No one else has done that besides him. Zerga's.
No, that's not true. Every single person in the call has at some point been like, no, he's fair to all of us. What are you talking about? Don't speak on my behalf. I would never complain. Steven treats me so well. Max, I've never talked to you before, but I'm going to come in and start arguing and sucking up to you. It's like, Steven, I don't even know why you talk to this guy. No, you guys are all bootlickers.
Can I make
continue?
Wow, okay, so this is kind of crazy because I was
the official bootlicker wants to make a statement. The professional bootlicker. What's your statement for it? Go ahead.
The last 3 years. Okay, but that is so interesting to me because you are assuming all these things about my relationship with Destiny and like how I interact with them. I have not been on stream for like the past 2 years for good reasons, right? And instead of taking the criticism that I'm talking about You are.
You're not giving any criticism. You're asking me. You're asking me questions. You're like, don't you think that maybe you sound entitled? That's not a criticism. If you have a criticism, I'd like to hear it, and then I'll respond. Go ahead.
Well, I'm trying to walk you through it, right? Because it's a lot easier to say, like,
I'm not stupid. I don't have to be walked through. You could just tell me the criticism, and I'll be able to.
Because you're deflecting right now what everybody's saying about you. Instead of listening, you're saying,
I'll be back in
you're all
20.
bootlickers.
Okay.
And
Here's the primary. Here's the. I'm not. Okay.
You're saying like, oh no, like.
Wait. The thing that made me say that was Zerka saying, "Where did Steven touch you?" I'm not deflecting. I understand the primary disagreement right now seems to be that you think that even though there is a power differential that you definitely can't argue against, it's not a formally created power differential. So therefore, I should not have expectations of a formal nature or professional nature.
No, what I'm saying is that, you know, there can be a power differential. No one's like, I'm not disagreeing with that, at least.
Yes, I just said that.
Yeah, I know. I'm rephrasing.
Yes.
I'm starting from the beginning.
You're not even rephrasing. You're just saying the same thing I just said.
Okay, chill. Okay. But you cannot get mad at that power differential if you're the one who's constantly putting yourself in a bad position over and over and over and over again, despite Destiny not asking you to, despite Destiny not, you know, putting you there. You're the one who's putting yourself.
Yes, so because a formal relationship was never actually established verbally, so you do. So if Steven said, Max, I want you to work for me, and here's the job. The job is when you think of something you want to talk about, or if I think of something I want to talk about with you, or something naturally comes up, I just want you to come on my stream. I want you to try to be interesting. I want you to, you know, make sure your audio equipment's good, your camera's good. I want you to look and sound good, and I want you to speak, you know, concisely. You be yourself. You know, it's a pretty simple job, but I just want you to come on and kind of like talk to people, and then I'll post videos about it, and I'll make like, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars per month, and you, in exchange, you get to all be in your videos, so you get a boost in the algorithm from that. People will like you, my community, some of my fans will come over to you. What do you say? So if he said that, and I said, okay, that sounds good, then do you think I would have more of a right to be upset?
Honestly, if you said that, yeah, you'd have more of a right, because Destiny's not like begging you to be on stream. He's saying like, oh yeah, or
absolutely.
Tell me if I'm out of place here, Destiny, because this is like
no, he's never begged me to be on stream. So again, the reason I thought I did a pretty good job of framing your argument for you is that your main complaint is that no formal agreement was ever explicitly made, and yet I am bringing in expectations as if it were.
Yeah, I guess.
Yes. Okay. So there's two parts of this. One is how I feel. You're saying I shouldn't feel this way, but I do. And so that's an angle where you're trying to discredit me by saying, well, you're just an entitled fucking weirdo. You're a crazy person. You think you're entitled to all this shit, but you're not. You're crazy. And then the other is... I never said you were crazy.
I said you were entitled, which...
Yeah. But I'm saying that's an attack on my emotional and psychological well-being. You're saying I shouldn't.
Wait, calling someone entitled is an attack on somebody's emotional and psychological well-being?
No, telling somebody that they shouldn't feel what they're feeling is an attack on somebody.
I don't think she was talking about what she was feeling. I think
she said I don't have a right to be angry. So
wait,
there's two.
No, what? No,
wait, stop! But don't scatter what I'm saying. It's very simple. There's an emotional component and a logistical component. So do I have a right to feel how I feel? She's saying I don't.
No, hold on, stop. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick stab at this, Pxie. You tell me if I'm right or tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, super quick. Okay, it sounds like what Pxie is saying is that you are now you're doing this thing where you're like, just because I don't make a formal agreement with you doesn't mean that I can't have some forms of boundaries, which everybody in here would agree. You don't have to make a formal agreement with somebody that has some forms of boundaries, but you're not talking about a boundary like a friendship boundary. It seems like you're extending that to almost like a form of professional boundary. You're talking about these are the rules that you need to make to moderate your community to appease me professionally. And what Pxie is saying is that in order to make a professional ask of somebody or to have a professional boundary, it seems like some professional agreement would have needed to have been made and not just assumed. Otherwise, you have a feeling of entitlement that isn't justified. That sounds like what Pxie's argument was.
Yeah, but there's two components to that. There's the logistical, professional component, and then there's the emotional component.
No one here is talking about the emotional component. It's about the logistical.
She just said you don't have a. She's just said you don't have a right to be angry.
Okay, what I said. Well, I don't.
Pxie, do you think I have a right to be angry?
Honestly, I think everybody can feel what they want to feel, right? Everybody has a right to feel whatever.
Okay.
But whether those emotions are valid or not, whether those emotions should be introspected more, and hopefully we work towards change.
So I can have. So why don't you just bite the? Let's cut.
I'll bite the bullet.
Let's cut the shit. Wait, let's cut the shit. Let's skip the loop. Let's bite the bullet and just say you don't think that my emotions are valid. That's what you said. Let's just Put that down, and then I can
Let's
respond
be
to it
very
without you
specific,
shifting it to
please.
something else.
Can we be very
Can we-
specific though? Because I'm not saying, oh, you can't be
I'm not
angry
trying to.
or hurt
I'm not
in
trying
general.
to. I'm not trying to
I
get
know.
you. I'm not trying to dunk on you. I'm literally explaining your argument for you, and you're
Oh my
interrupting me,
God.
telling me it's wrong, going on a loop,
No,
having
no, no,
Steven
no, 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 no,
translate,
I'm
and then
asking
restating
for
the
right
same
now.
thing that I
You can
just
be very
said
specific.
for
I just
10
want to
minutes.
be
All that's been
clear.
happening for 10 minutes is you trying to escape me stating your own argument to you,
All
and
that's
then
been happening for
restating it
10
over
minutes
and
is
over.
you deflecting. Okay, but whatever. I am trying to be
I would
clear
like-
right now. That is all I am trying to do.
I understand what
trying
you're
to ask
saying
you-
because you're saying the
okay.
same thing as everybody else, so it's not that hard to understand. I get it. You think that my emotions are not valid because you think I am both professionally and interpersonally overly entitled to what I view as my property, my space, and my Steven. I get it.
I never
get
said
what you're saying.
interpersonally, but continue.
When you talk about my feelings, you are bringing up the interpersonal. You're not just talking about professional anger. You're talking about my psychology. And I believe what you think about my psychology is that I have boundaries for me, but not for thee. That I believe that I can say no to people and I can tell people to fuck off and I can do whatever, blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, I don't feel that other people should be able to say no to me, including Steven, interpersonally, psychologically. I think that's the picture you're painting of me. Is that wrong?
Yeah, I think more or less that's basically it.
Okay, so to address the two prongs, now that we've agreed on what you're saying. Professionally, streaming is a new and uncharted territory, partly invented by Steven himself. And I don't think that we have really figured out how to establish these relationships and how to maintain them in a way that's good for especially the orbiter, but even good for the streamer. So I don't think it should be the Wild West. I guess I'm just for people speaking out when they think something is unjust. And I'm also all about calling out the unspoken, bringing the unspoken agreement or unspoken relationship to light. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So when I call Steven your boss or our boss, I'm not saying he officially has accepted this title. I'm saying it because you are already not thinking. I'm saying it because it's not acknowledged. I'm saying I think we should acknowledge that
It's not reality.
That's fine if you don't. It's fine if you don't agree. But I don't think I'm saying anything about, like, you don't like the label, but everything I'm saying about it, like, we benefit greatly from appearing on Steven's stream, and he can control that. He can control our access to that resource. He doesn't really get much from appearing on any of our streams. That's just
not
true.
like he's not like a natural he's not like natural water. He's not like the pond or the rain that
I'm not saying he's the pond. I'm saying he has control.
Like,
He doles out access to a very valuable resource when he sees fit, and this gives him a lot of power in the relationship. You don't have to call it a boss if you want. We already have the word. Orbiter is kind of a like semi-ironic term, but it's pretty accurate. We exist because of him. If he cuts us loose, then we are just a little asteroid sailing through the nothingness of space. That tie can always be cut. If you cut ties with Steven, you heard him what he said earlier. Lav was like, "Well, I don't know if I want to be talked to this way," and he was like, "Fine, go fuck yourself." But like, the only reason I have a career is because of Steven.
Okay, Max, you are projecting
threats at him and expect him to care, right?
Wait, stop. I'm not projecting anything. I'm just describing literally the logistics of our relationship. If you walk out of Walmart and you say, "Go fuck yourself, Walmart," it does not change Walmart's life at all. If Walmart says, "Go fuck yourself," you're fired, it changes your life completely. I think we should acknowledge that. Like, I haven't even finished what I'm saying. Again, I'm just trying to. These are obvious things that are obviously true, and you won't even let me finish it. Stop making me come up with examples of how what I'm saying is like obviously true.
I don't think you should say
it's not obviously true. That's a problem.
When people are disagreeing.
Okay, what part of what I just said isn't true, Pxie? Let's do it.
When I keep saying, "Oh, you're projecting," what I'm saying is that
No, I don't want you to talk about that. No, you just said what I just said isn't true. What about what I described? I've addressed only the professional. I've addressed only the professional. What about what I said about our professional relationships with Steven is not true?
Well, first of all, my life and my profession, seeing that it's like not even streaming to begin with, is not affected by whether Steven is interacting with me on stream or not. Other people have communities large enough where they can continue.
Okay, great. Then you're not in that case. You're not one of the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who are financially dependent or semi-dependent on their relationship with Steven.
Which might be you, but that's
Yes,
not
I'm one of those
necessarily every
people.
single
Yes,
person
that's
that you're
good. I'm
talking
talking
to,
about
nor even
orbiters.
every orbiter.
Yes, I'm talking
Like-
about orbiters who depend on Steven for their living. So what about what I said about those relationships is not true, or can I finish making my point?
Finish making your point, but just specify it's you, because there's other orbiters.
I'm not just talking about me. There are multiple people, including people in this call, who benefit greatly financially and professionally from their exposure to Steven and his stream.
But just because they benefit doesn't mean that their career is over. Just because Steven doesn't
I
talk
didn't
to
say
them
your career is
anymore.
over. Just because Walmart fires you doesn't mean that you're never going to work a cashier job again.
Wait, hold
But
on,
you do
stop. To
have
be
that-
clear, that is what you're implying, because you're saying that I
No,
only
I'm
exist
not.
because
We-
of. Wait,
we-
no. You literally said that I only exist because of him, and otherwise we're asteroids cut loose into space. You're
I didn't
implying
say
that
I
like.
only exist because of you. I said I only have a career because of you.
Okay, which means your career is over if it's not for me. That's what Pxie was saying.
Yeah.
You know what
It's
this
not
reminds
over.
me of?
It's just entirely. It would be very handy at this point. I mean, you've already kind of semi-professionally cut ties with me in some ways, and I think I'm
really?
It's
I mean, you are
subreddit.
banning my fans from your subreddit.
Okay, this is the thing that's happening right now. But like, you're still appearing
I
on
am.
stream, no problem. I still appear in YouTube videos, no problem. I'm still like, damn, I don't think I
Yes,
haven't come
but-
close to cutting ties with anything.
No, but my the character I'm now allowed to play.
You,
on
I
the
haven't.
stream.
You can do whatever you want. I don't have any problems with anything you've done on stream. If I have a problem with things you're saying, I'll be able to shout at you.
Do you agree? Okay,
Yeah.
will you bite the bullet that banning my fans from your subreddit does increase a anti-MrGirl sentiment on your subreddit, and thus, therefore, does define how I am seen by your community to some
Oh, thank
degree.
God, something I give a shit about. Oh, thank you. So, do you think you and your fans do anything to deserve a ban?
Steven, will you answer my question?
The if I ban all of your fans, will anti-max sentiment necessarily raise my sub? To some extent, it probably will, sure. But I mean, it's not like they're never going to be nice to you. Like, you've done interviews afterwards, where I think my sub ubiquitously was in agreement that you did really well on the no jumper thing. I don't think there was like hardly any disagreement there. And that was with, I think that was already post like a lot of your fans getting banned.
But
So
will you bite the bullet that banning my fans from your subreddit lowers my?
I just
standing
did. I
in your
literally
subreddit?
already did. I can restate it again if you'd like. But yes, of course it will.
No,
yes.
you bit the bullet, but then you did chaser. No chaser.
Well, I have to
straight
do
up.
it because you always do these hardcore insinuations, and then those insinuations like pump the rest of your arguments without people being aware of it. But
I
like,
don't think it's a hardcore insinuation to say, do you agree that to some degree banning all my fans from your subreddit hurts my standing in your community?
yes, I don't. That's not the problem. The problem is later on you're going to say that by banning your fans, I've like made it impossible for my subreddit, or you're going to make
No,
more pointed
I
arguments.
don't
with you.
know.
Okay,
I'm
well,
not,
we'll
I'm
see.
not, I'm not
Okay,
going
we'll
to.
see.
Let's
Okay.
look. Yeah, let's see, and then you can say it after I do it instead of before I do it, motherfucker.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, it's true. I still have access to your stream. I can still come on and be me. But the character I get to play now is one that discredits me, and actually hurts my reputation. And so, yes, you haven't cut ties with me, but I have lost access to something that gave me a career. I don't have that thing. If I came on and you portrayed me the way you do now at first, I probably wouldn't have a career.
Like, you're the one who basically assigned your career onto Steven. Do you understand that? Do you see that?
I am describing the logistical, professional interweb here, or interconnected web of relationships.
Yeah, but do you understand
And you
that?
keep switching the conversation back to my psychology, but before
Well,
you do
because
that,
this is-
before
Hold on,
we
wait, real
address
quick,
that end
wait.
of it,
Let me hold on. Let me just push into what Pxie's saying, because I could be wrong, but it feels like this is what she's implying, and it does make me feel a little uncomfortable. It sounds like what you've essentially done is, in a way, you have made me completely responsible for your existence, and now I have to accept a whole bunch of responsibilities that entails, and that's a really spooky ask or demand that I'm.
Yeah, I know. I know. I think you feel like I'm guilt tripping you, and I think it freaks you out.
Well, I wouldn't say that it freaks me out. It's more than just like I've been given a whole list of responsibilities that I didn't know I was signing up for. Is the argument Pxie's making?
Yes.
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 And do you
I think
do you know
I think
for
we all
how
agree
long?
on that.
Do you know for
What,
how
what?
long? Do you know for how long you expect that? Is it until you outgrow Steven?
Oh, if I outgrow Steven, then will I feel...
When do you expect him to not put your image before his maybe like authentic reaction to your arguments or whatever? or
That's
like,
not what I'm asking for. That's
or
not what I'm
allowing
asking
people to ban your fans. Like, at what point do you allow him to do what he wants to do with his platform?
He's allowed to ban my fans whenever he wants, but if he wants me to, I mean, obviously, if he wants me to
When
participate.
Chaeiry
in
says
subreddit,
allowed, she means like, what would you prefer? Obviously, not what am I actually.
Yeah, like at what point will you be?
Well, I reject that framing of allow. So if you're asking me what I want, then
What
just
is
say
your
that.
ideal? At what time do you feel like it will be ideal for you to like cut the umbilical cord?
I don't want to cut the umbilical cord. That's not what I'm describing. I'm talking about a set of norms that I think should be in place when there's a huge power differential that are not in place. And so I think, we should acknowledge the power differential. And then I'm still trying to respond to Pxie's, like, you guys are running so much interference for each other.
Okay,
I can't wait. Stop. Let me finish my sentence about how you're interrupting me. You guys are running so much interference for each other that I literally can't respond to any single point without either that person themselves saying they didn't say what they just said, or somebody else coming in to translate, aka change the subject. So I feel like all this started because Pxie asked me my position, I thought, and I'm trying to say, I think that or me saying, here's your two main contentions with me, and I would like to respond to both of them, but I feel like I haven't been able to do that. So instead of having a bunch of mini arguments, can we just accept that we do have a professional relationship with Steven? That relationship was not formalized. It has not been made explicit until maybe right now, me saying this. It does not have clear terms and boundaries. There are no protections in place for people who enter Steven's orbit. Orbiters do tend to be fans. They tend to be people who really admire Steven and love Steven and look up to Steven. They enter into his orbit. It's a great honor to be here. And this primes people, along with the not informal nature and along with Steven's not irresponsible, but like the like willingness to wrestle in the mud or wanting to wrestle in the mud with you. All of this, I think, combines to create a situation where no one is really advocating for the orbiters. And so I want to stand up and say, like, look, I think this financial relationship exists, is very real. A lot of us are actually dependent on you for paying rent. And I think that introduces a lot of power imbalances that I want to talk about.
He's not here right now, by the way.
Dan, why the f am I here?
Oh, sorry. I don't know.
That's fine. I think he already knows what I'm saying anyway. Then the second part is my psychology. So if you want to talk about how you think I feel over entitled, I can see why you're saying that. I think there's a couple things I'll speak to on that. One, my bar for expressing anger is pretty low. So for Steven to get to the point where he's going to come on a stream and say, like, listen, I'm here, I want to talk to you because I'm angry at you, he would have to be apoplectic in order to get to that point. I'm much more open, very angry.
Oh, okay.
I'm much more open about my feelings. So I can be feeling probably something less than what you're imagining in order to tell somebody, like, hey, I'm angry at you. And then what's the other part? You're talking about how I'm entitled and flipping out, main character syndrome, narcissistic. I think I'm also much more willing to have conflict. So for me, there's been a lot of professional situations in my life where
you're not willing to have conflict, because to be willing to have conflict, you would need you'd need to allow the other person to have conflict with you, and you very much do not want to let Steven have conflict with you.
This is how I see myself, despite Chaeiry's assessment of me. I think that I am more willing to have conflict than most people, and I think it gives people the impression that I am more entitled or think things are worse than they are. I don't think what Steven is doing is, like, horrific. I don't think it's really his fault that he's been thrust into this role. I don't think he wants the responsibility, but I think he wants the benefit of having orbiters, and I think that should carry with it responsibility. In my eyes, it does.
Okay, I have a question. Okay. It seems like you have put Steven in an impossible situation to win because, again, first of all, he didn't ask for this responsibility. yet it seems like you have hoisted it upon him. So if he decides, hey, guess what? I don't want this responsibility of dealing with orbiters. I'm not talking to any more orbiters on stream, et cetera, like where this is done. What's going to happen to you, Max?
I'll just fall back on being a rapper.
Okay.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What's going to happen to me? Like, yeah, it would suck. I would be sad. It would hurt my career. But that I understand. That's fine.
Okay.
Like, again, if Walmart wants to be like, listen, I can't stop hitting my employees, so I guess we have to shut down because we can't stop beating the employees. That's fine. If he cannot, if he does not want to or cannot treat his orbiters well, then yeah, I think he shouldn't have them. But that's not what I want.
Can I challenge you on something, Max? Because
Sure.
I've heard much of your criticism of Steven.
Okay.
He's irresponsibly platforming other people and now irresponsibly managing his orbiters. What is responsible that he's doing?
What is responsible?
Yeah, what is a good thing that happens on this stream besides you having a career?
What is a good thing that happens on the stream aside from me having a career? He is very fair and understanding of people's different perspectives and empathetic and intelligent 92% of the time. That's pretty good.
Okay. I have a question. I have more questions for you.
He's doing a way better job of steering the ship than any of you would. So
Okay.
I'm like, look, I think that I'm not saying that I think anyone else is more qualified to do this than he is. I think most people in his situation would end up being abusive to some degree. I think that's just part of having power.
Okay. I know you kind of like touched upon it earlier, but I really got to know the specifics of what does orbiter responsibility exactly look like for you? Because so far the things that you have been describing, at least from an outsider perspective, seems kind of unfair, if not just like completely unfair. So maybe
I haven't even made, but I haven't made any prescriptions. I don't even know what
Exactly. I'm saying what it looks like you're alluding to. So that's why I'm asking you to be
Oh,
specific
I'm not
right
alluding
now.
to. Okay, here's my prescription. I think that Steven should acknowledge the power imbalance, and I think he should take that acknowledgement into account when having interpersonal commentary or interpersonal conflict with people, and when getting feedback about it. I think it's really messy and confusing and really, really difficult to do all of these roles at once, and I don't think it's fair to expect that he'd do that. So what I think should happen is I think he should be really open to feedback. I think anybody who says like, hey, I think you're mistreating your orbiters, I think you're mistreating me, I think he should take a big step back when somebody says that and say, oh, I have this rule with my girlfriend. We have a rule in our relationship that usually when we're having a conflict, we acknowledge explicitly whose turn is it to talk about their side. Usually it's a bad idea if we both try to talk about our feelings. So we say, okay, you're going to talk about your feelings, that's fine. You're the one who brought up the thing. If you're the first person to say I'm angry or I'm upset with you, then it's your turn. Go ahead. You get to talk about it. I will do my best to listen to you and make space for your narrative and your feelings. Even if I think everything you're saying is a lie, I will just look through your eyes. But there is a catch. If either of us says, I think you're being abusive, the other person has to stop. Whatever role you're in, when you make an abuse allegation, however minor, I think you're being abusive, the other person has to say, okay, why? Why do you think I'm being abusive? Why did you say that? It's an automatic timeout. And I think it would be good to have something like that in Steven's orbiter relationships, where somebody, a check on Steven's power, because Steven doesn't want to acknowledge his power. And I think that...
Don't know why you keep saying that when I will.
That's not true. Yeah, this is another thing. You keep saying like, oh, okay. I want him to acknowledge
I think Steven has not acknowledged his power sufficiently. And I think...
How? In what way? Or wait, in what way have I... I'm just curious, because we can just solve that one real quick.
Because when Pxie starts pushing back on me and saying, oh, he didn't formally blah, blah, what you should have done, I think, is you should have jumped in and been like, no, let's be real here. I don't think of myself as your boss, but like, yeah, I have a fucking shitload of power over you. Go ahead, Max.
Well,
or go ahead,
but
Pxie.
obviously I have power, but
bite the bullet.
Well, that's not a the problem is the not being the. First of all, no, I wouldn't say that I'm your boss at all.
I know.
In any size, shape, or
I
form.
know.
And you wouldn't agree with that either, because it doesn't make any sense, right? Because
wait, in any way, shape, or form, that's not true. You
correct.
Have power,
in any way, shape, or form.
Professional and financial power. Over
professional financial power does not make somebody somebody's boss. It could be a interpersonal relationship.
Part of it. Wait, you said in any way, shape,
or form.
A part
necessary but not sufficient doesn't make it necessary and sufficient, right?
I'm not saying you're literally actually my boss, but in some ways you are.
No, not at all.
Okay, well, so if you want to be responsible with your power, you should just bite the bullet and say, yeah, I get what you mean.
I understand what you mean, but what you're saying is wrong. I can be charitable. I have some level of.
You shouldn't say.
Okay,
I think you shouldn't do that. I've had this problem with you since our second conversation, where I was like, "Hey, at any point are we gonna acknowledge the extreme power differential between us?" And you were basically just like, "No, you can talk about it. I don't think about it." And I was
no.
That wasn't. Think about how much people benefit. Like all these.
You're just
sycophantic suck-ups leeching off you. You don't think about that, and you're like, "No."
Okay, so in that second conversation, that referred to our personal relationship, in which case I don't think about that much at all. If you want to, that's fine. If it affects you, that's fine. But I don't personally think about it that way. Now you're talking about a professional relationship. So to refer back to that conversation makes absolutely no sense, okay? Now, what we're talking about right now is whether or not I'm your boss. I'm not your boss. Do I have some similarities to your boss? Yeah, sure. And that like I have some like control over your income potentially, or can platform you or employ you in certain ways that makes you more money, sure. But there's plenty of people in your life that can do that to you that aren't your boss at all. For instance, I might be working for a company as a consultant or whatever, and I've got a relationship with another client, and that guy, whether or not he agrees or disagrees to the offer that I make him, might have a dramatic impact on even whether or not I maintain my job. But that guy's not my boss, right? So I just, that phrase is very strange, because the problem is when you say boss, you're using a form of intuition pumping there, because boss implies some level of consensual obligations between both parties. And you're trying to say, well, you're kind of like my boss because we have these things, and if I agree to it, you're going to use that intuition pump. Okay, well, now you agree you're kind of like my boss. Well, how would it be like if Walmart just fired me out of nowhere or something like that, even though they have the right to do that?
No. I'm not trying to trap you.
You are. You're doing that with that boss phrase. Otherwise, all you could really say is like, oh, well, he's got some power over income, right? Yeah, of course. You would just say it like that and leave it there. That'd be fair. But when you say boss, you're using boss as an intuition pump to some sort of contractual obligation that we've mutually agreed to, which we haven't really.
No, that's not. I'm referring to the ethics.
The ethics are not existing at all whatsoever here. We don't have a boss employer.
I know that is our that is our contention. I think they exist, and that is why I'm using the word boss.
Okay, let's just have that. Let's have that conversation then. How am I your boss?
I thought you know the ways that I think you're my boss. We both agree on the situation.
Okay, did I hire you? Did we go through any sort of hiring process?
We both agree on every part of this. We don't need to go through this.
Okay, then I'm not your boss then, because I wouldn't say I'm your boss at all.
The only reason I'm using the word is because I think due to our financial and professional relationship, I think you have certain ethics that you should follow, which you don't think you should follow. That is the argument. We can't...
Well, sure, we can talk about those ethics, but they're not going to be the same as a boss would have.
I think some of them should be.
Some of them could be, sure, but it's not the same as a boss. Some of the ways we act should be the same as like a husband and wife treat each other, but that doesn't mean that we're married. I wouldn't use that term. So yeah, I agree. There might be some similarities to bosses or to girlfriends or to wives or to whatever.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't pretend that you think that our relationship is as similar to husband and wife as it is to boss. It's a flat fucking.
No, hold on. It might be more or less similar. I'm just saying that boss is incorrect. Boss does not apply to
husband and wife wouldn't really. There would be no point for me to use that comparison. There's a lot of point in me using the comparison of boss. Because I think you're
and the point is the intuition pump of trying to imply that I had some pre-existing contractual agreement with you in terms of our relationship.
Let me make it clear. We can use a different word.
Sure.
I don't think we have a contractual agreement. I think we have a messy, confusing relationship, including financially and professionally messy and confusing. But in that relationship, I think there is a gigantic power differential where you have more control over me and the course of my life than a boss at Walmart has over his employee. So we don't have to use the word to describe our relationship, but I just want to point out that in relationships where there is much less influence over the worker's life, there's still ethical protections in place, which you seem to shirk entirely.
Well, because ethical obligations are usually things that are at least implicitly agreed to when people enter a sort of relationship with one another.
Well, I think that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to think about what's ethical here, and I'm asking you to hear me out as I make my case.
Well, sure, and I'll hear you out, and we can think about what's ethical, but you're not asking me to have done it. You're upset because I haven't already done it. Like, it's not like you're coming to me now and it's like, okay, hey, hold on. If we're going to like keep going on this, we should have like a conversation about this. You're upset because you think I've already failed to meet those obligations that I should have already been aware of.
Yeah, I think that's unfair. I think you're right. Well, I don't think it's unfair to be upset about it. It's more like things are happening that are really upsetting to me, and then as I kind of step back and think like, okay, what the fuck is going on? As I try to sort out what's happening between us, then I'm like, oh, this shouldn't have happened. I think that's not right. And then I'm reframing that as like, okay, I think this is an ethics thing that I think should be talked about. But I agree. The framing that you should have thought about this already is not fair.
Sure, that's fine. And then the only thing I ask then is that, like, when you think about it from reframing it in the way that it feels unfair or whatever, which is totally fair, especially when you're dealing with like massive amounts of hates from other communities, is like the way that I usually approach these types of thoughts is like, well, what if this was universalized? Like, is the expectation that I'm setting here fair for expectations between all people that are in the quote unquote orbiter class is the question.
I think absolutely. So the expectations I would like you to consider are, I think, in dealing with interpersonal conflict, if you're defining somebody, calling them stupid or immature, or implying that they may be, or allowing others, implying it by being silent. Like if Dan calls Lav a snake and then you don't say anything. I think I just want you to think about the power of defining the narrative that you have and how much that affects the other
Yeah, I don't
person.
have to think about that. I already know to some extent that that's going to exist. But like, if I would have to formally state it, I would say like, don't ever come here if you're expecting me to be like this stalwart defender of every single person that comes on from an uncharacterization of another person they're talking to. Like, I explicitly don't like intervene in those types of conversations unless somebody's like being unhinged or whatever. That's just not my role. It's never been my role.
I don't think I'm asking you to be a stalwart defender. I think it's more
If you
like,
want me to intervene between a disagreement between Dan and Lav, of course you're asking me to step in and be like Lav's defender. I don't need to step in.
Let me describe what I'm asking, and then you can tell me if that is what I'm saying. I'm asking you to set norms.
What norm are you asking me to set here? That guests can't insult each other? Like, what norm could I possibly set to make it so that Dan can't call Lav stupid? If Dan thinks Lav is stupid.
I don't think I said that. I said she acts snaky.
Okay, if Dan says that Lav is snaky, he feels that way. What norm could I possibly set such that Dan can't say that? I
think a norm of being aware of a dog pile where if the community is calling Lav snaky and you're calling her out on her inconsistencies, I think there should be a norm that should be dealt with carefully.
I have a question, Max.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that there could? This is just random, but like,
just
if
say
there
what you
is
think.
a
Stop.
situation-
Just say what you think. Please, just say what you think.
Okay, I'm trying.
Just say
Give me a
I
break.
think.
Okay.
I can't
If
stand
there
these
is
questions.
a situation, well, because I'm trying to understand how you think better. I don't want to make a statement where if
Just
I'm not
say
completely
what you
understanding you
think.
first.
Just say what you think.
If there is a situation where Lav is acting snaky, I think that people should be allowed to call her out on that and say that, right? But I
would never accept, in my community, I would never accept snaky as a defined trait that can be fairly applied to a human.
You almost, didn't you literally ban her initially and claim that she was a type of pedophile?
I didn't call her a pedophile. I said she was sexualizing minors.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's a
Well,
huge
no,
difference.
those are two different things. Well, it's not a smear. It's like there's a rule
He
that you
didn't
broke.
approve snaky, so he's consistent.
I would never. And like with Lav, I don't think I've insulted Lav. I mean, even Chaeiry and Stardust in the last week, I don't think I've insulted either of them. I think I've just been like, I believe what they said. I believe that they were confused or had a reaction for whatever reason and made this allegation against me and retracted it. I've not called either. If I was going to call someone snaky, that would have been the time where I would be tempted to do it, but I wasn't. I didn't. It's just not something that I do. It's not how I talk about people because it's fucking unempathetic. I don't want to do that to people, and I don't want my community to do it to people. But it's just a norm. So it's not like I'm saying, like, yeah, if you set a norm that you're gonna like call people names and insult people, especially orbiters, then like, yeah, we're all gonna do it to each other. That's like how families work. You're the head, and we're all gonna mimic your behavior.
So
if you call Lav
what's
a dumb
the
bitch, then all your fans are gonna
What's
call each
the-
other dumb bitches.
What is the gauge on the career harm of being called a snake?
I don't think that you're going to be able to clearly define harm in any of these cases. You can watch the wave of negative sentiment come through the community, and then afterward there's a counter wave, and then as Stephen always points out. But who knows? Like, who knows where any of us would be if these...
It just seems like the level of protection that you want Steven to provide orbiters is basically setting him up to be like a daycare center for streamers.
That's fine. If you think do you think I'm running a daycare center? I don't think I am.
I have
you
no
freaked
idea
out.
who
You
your
flipped out
orbiters
and
are.
left my show, and then I don't think I'm running a daycare center. I think
No, I
go
don't-
pretty
I
hard
don't
on people who
think-
come on. People,
Yeah.
I have a lot of conflict with people who come on my stream. People who come on my stream have conflicts with each other. I don't think I'm running a daycare center, and yet there's a norm on my stream that I think my viewers, my community, and people who come on my stream follow, which is that like we don't hurl dehumanizing, vicious insults at each other, and that is not a norm here.
I don't know
I think
if
it should be if you're
Snake
gonna,
is-
if you're gonna have.
I didn't follow a conversation for 2 hours. You basically told your chat I was retarded.
No, you
you
used
think
the
that
word
that's
retarded.
better
I would
than
never
calling
call
me
you. I would
snake?
never call you retarded. When you remember what I said when you left, if you heard it, I said, "Look, I'm glad Chaeiry set a boundary. I think it was good of her to speak up and say that I don't think this conversation is good for me." And she left, and I said, "Chaeiry, if you want to come back, or if you want to send me a DM of any statement you'd like to make to amend anything that's been said, I'm happy to say it for you. I would never call you retarded. I just would never do that."
Okay, then I cannot follow you by what you find to be like a harmful thing. If maybe for you it's like certain words are a no-no, but
No, it's not that certain
but
words.
can we
it's,
like
it's,
paint
it's
someone
just,
in a way that says the words instead of the words? Like where
I don't
what is-
think
what
it's
are the
painting you
rules
as
for you?
retarded to say that there's a conversation that I think you're having trouble following. I don't
No,
think
you
that's calling you
didn't
retarded.
just say I'm having trouble. You said I couldn't follow it. I'm not capable.
Yes, oh, okay, a conversation that you can't follow. I don't think that means
So-
you're retarded.
Well, that just means she's stupid, right?
No, it doesn't mean no. Stop! Don't.
Well,
Wait, will
listen.
somebody,
Here's
will
the
so-
difference.
Wait, will somebody
quick, I
bite the
haven't said
fucking
anything.
bullet? Will somebody acknowledge that Steven insults people more than I do? Come on, somebody step up,
okay.
Is that
open your
in-
mouth, and
is
bite
that
the
in
fucking bullet.
question?
Steven clearly insults people more than I do.
I think it's
Steven,
a little bit.
will you please acknowledge this?
I don't know. I think that.
I do a lot of
Jesus
insulting.
Well, here's the issue. I use more mean words than you do.
Yes,
for sure. But
okay.
Like, I mean, you've made some pretty extreme statements towards people as well that implies a level of ineptitude or incapability too. So I mean, I don't know, like per capita of like streaming hours, who's insulted who more. I'm not sure on that. But like, I mean, I use more mean words for sure.
I don't think I'm
Here is
known
that
for
Destiny,
making.
when Destiny's he'll throw around things pretty casually, and I think everybody kind of understands that it's pretty casual. It's not really there's no real meaning behind it. But MrGirl, you do have a history of painting people a certain way.
I
don't.
Okay,
listen,
fine.
you guys
Even
have
if
all
think- even
talked
if
a
you
lot.
think-
Hold on,
wait,
Max.
Stop! I want to finish.
Why?
I'm not. Stop! Everybody, stop changing the fucking subject.
I'm not. I'm
You asked
commenting
me
on
a-
this.
Okay, I was asked a simple question. What do I expect? Steven said, do you expect me to be a stalwart defender of everybody who comes on the stream? The answer is no, I don't expect that. I expect or request that you set norms.
Okay,
And I think those norms should take into account the power differential. And one norm I believe is that people should probably, especially if somebody is on the back foot or being dogpiled, I don't think that people should be making denigrating, sweeping, dehumanizing statements about that person.
All right,
Just
I'm
like
hold Stardust,
capable of
please,
having a
please Stardust.
conversation.
I have said nothing in like an hour. But I just want to give an example of something. If I call Stardust a fucking moron, I don't think anyone in chat really cares. Like it might get a few laughs. I don't think Stardust.
I completely disagree.
Okay,
with you so far.
that's fine. Let me finish my thing. So I don't think that's a huge deal. I think that like mostly people are like, hey, you called them stupid, whatever, not a big deal. You know what is a big deal? If I said, Stardust, you are actually incapable of having this conversation. I'm not sure what it is. Did you finish school? But regardless, I can't have this conversation with you. You've demonstrated you don't have the ability. If I say that, that's like, holy shit, Stardust is a fucking moron.
Yeah,
and
so
people
if
walk
I
away.
can-
That is 10 times worse than just calling them stupid.
If I can
I'm not
also
talking about
add
what's-
something, if I can add something also, saying that like, oh, Stardust, I think you're too traumatized to have this difficult conversation. And if you didn't know that you were too traumatized to have this difficult conversation, even though my brand is having difficult conversations, you should have told me, Stardust. You should have told me. And you're just so incapable of having this conversation that I'm going to talk to you like I talked to Shaylin. How are these things not painting somebody a certain way? You're weaponizing what you perceive. You weaponized what you perceived was trauma for me, and then used it as a weapon against me to discredit me.
I don't mean to dogpile.
Okay.
I'm just.
Yeah, well, but you see that you. Okay. To respond
I've never
to you,
painted
Stardust.
you like that. Nobody here.
Stardust?
I mean, never.
I don't.
Wait a
Please
minute.
don't. Please,
I
okay. Yes,
haven't
Stardust.
talked-
You would never
have
paint
not-
me in
I
a
have
negative
not-
way that could impact my reputation.
I retracted,
Absolutely not.
I retracted my tweet within 1 hour. I apologized twice
okay,
publicly and to you privately. It was a
Okay.
huge mistake. It was a huge mistake. I will never disagree with you on that. But you spent the last few months painting me as emotionally incapable, as some just so fucking traumatized that I can't partake in a normal adult conversation when I've had way more problematic conversations with people, just because I didn't want to cede on one point with you. You didn't want to move the conversation forward. And then because I did what I said I would do, Max, I said that when people push me on these things, I withdraw a bit. And I did what I said what I do. Right? I withdrew a bit.
I don't want to talk about this with you.
I didn't ghost you.
I don't want to talk about this with you.
I don't care. I need to say this.
I don't want to hear it. Stardust, you broke up with me. You sent me a DM saying you don't want to talk to me about this. You asked Steven if you would host a conversation between us. I don't want to talk to you.
Okay. All right. You have. I'm just saying you have no right to be going at Steven for painting people a certain way when you spent the last few months painting me
like Stardust.
a specific way. You painted me as emotionally.
I understand
and
that you
mentally incapable of having
I don't
a conversation.
want to talk to you about this.
And because I enforced,
I don't want to talk to you about this.
I withdrew. You discounted everything I've done for you in our friendship, even though I put myself in the fucking line the moment
Stardust,
I was friends with you.
I don't want to talk to you about
everybody, you have no.
I don't
idea
want
the
to
shit I've
talk
been
to
through
you
for you.
about this. I don't want to talk to you about this.
Okay.
I'm willing to be civil in a group conversation with you, but you tried to destroy my life, and because of that, I'm never going to talk to you
I tried to destroy. I deleted the tweet again within an hour.
It doesn't matter.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
I deleted it
It
within
doesn't
an hour.
matter.
I
We're done. Stardust, we're done. We're done.
I've never
Stardust,
called you
you
a
and
pedophile.
I,
I've
you and I,
defended
you.
on multiple,
It doesn't matter.
multiple
Nothing you
occasions. I have
did.
a
Nothing
large
you did.
history of being a Me Too
It doesn't
skeptic.
matter. It doesn't matter. It's like you pulled a gun on me,
And
you're saying because you put it away without shooting me that it's okay. It's not.
What
We're done.
did you
and then
do? What did
you broke
do
up with
when
me.
you
You sent me Stardust. Stardust. You sent me a DM. You sent me a DM. You sent me a DM.
When you weaponized my trauma against me.
You sent me a DM.
You did that for months.
You sent me a DM breaking up with me, and you pulled a gun on me.
No.
And because of that, I don't want to talk to you.
Absolutely not. You don't get to. What the f is that, Max?
It might be a little too soon to be having this conversation.
History against me for months to discredit me. So you don't get to fucking tell me about painting other people a certain way.
I'm not telling you anything. I'm talking to Steven, and you happen to be here.
And
I don't want to talk to you.
Hypocrite. You are the biggest hypocrite I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Anyway, to respond to you, Dan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even though you set that off on purpose.
Oh, well, first off, I did not set that off on purpose. I didn't even know.
This is your this is your specialty. You know exactly what you're doing. But
well, I do think, first off, I will say, swear on my kids, I didn't know about this thing with Stardust. Like, I knew you guys fought, but I didn't know anything like about calling Stardust stupid with that. That was just, she was at the bottom of the thing. Yeah, so just to...
It was just a lucky you just hit gold. Who hit gold?
Are you accusing me of lying?
I take it back. I'm like, no.
Oh, okay.
I take it. I take it back. You just are so good at stirring up shit that you even do it by accident.
Sometimes I
wait, hold on, wait. I'm penetrating. Hold on, penetrating real quick. Okay, I actually, because I can tell when Dan is shit stirring because he DMs me when he is. I don't think demonstrated. I think what Dan was getting at though, what Dan was getting at was that I might say more mean words to people, kind of like Dan does, but people don't take them necessarily as seriously. But when you go in on somebody, it seems to be way more pointed. I think like the piece of evidence that I would suggest maybe implies this is that technically, when I called Lav a dumb,
I don't think my reputation or my character is relevant right now. I don't think it matters.
Okay. Well, the only reason, wait, real quick. I agree.
Stop.
Wait, I agree. But the only reason why it's the subject right now is because you asked people, is Destiny more mean than me? I think that's the only reason that comparison came up.
Okay, that's fair. You're right. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're more mean than me. So
it kind of does matter because if you're going to be mad about how somebody should interact with others, at the very least, you should reach that minimum bar.
No, you were leaving out the power differential. The question is, how does Steven treat people who have less power than him? And that's where I'm saying that there's ethical concerns. I don't really have orbiters in the same way that Steven does.
He's gotten
if I did,
attacked to his platform from small streamers. That's most people.
This is not relevant. Wait, nothing. None of this is relevant.
How is that not relevant? How does he get to defend himself ever if every small streamer who orbits him
should
gets
stop
to
defending himself. He shouldn't defend himself right now. This is not a good time to defend himself, and it's really not. If you guys are trying to make him look bad, you're doing a good job. This is not a good time for all of his sycophantic orbiter fans to come out and start defending him. You guys should all shut the fuck up and let him stand as the captain of the. Let him stand. Oh my God! Stop! All of your voices drowning me out. You should let him stand as the captain of the ship.
He is standing. That's how tall
he is.
And
strong. Shut the f up. You should let him stand.
You're a content creator than me, Max.
He's not that tall.
You didn't give a f about painting.
Stop, chill. Okay, hold on, chill.
Wait, that was so good. That was so good.
Nothing was.
Stop. You should let Steven. In another ethical concern of mine is that he allows people to run interference for him if they have ethical concerns. So a conversation like this should be. I think if I say, hey, I don't think you're treating your orbiters well, I think that Steven should clear out the space and say, okay, anybody who wants to talk about how you think I'm not treating my orbiters well, I'll hear it out. I don't know if I'm going to agree with you. I'm not going to agree to change anything right now, but I'll think about it. I'll hear you out. I think that's fair. I think if we're going to be in this relationship where I have so much power over you and so much power over your reputation, yeah, I should hear it out.
I guess the biggest thing is that he never asked to be in this relationship with you to begin with. But the second thing, we've already basically run circles around that, is that the way that you're also talking about the other people that are not you, it's extremely condescending. You're saying oh, everyone else who's defending over him or whatever is a sycophantic, a orbiter, etc., etc.
Yes, I think you're sycophantic.
Call us bootlickers.
Yes, I think you're being bootlickers.
No,
absolutely.
I think
function right now. You function right now. You guys are like white blood cells trying to affect and trying to kill an infection.
What you want to do is that you want to be in a little bubble with Destiny where you don't get any other criticism and you get to just say whatever you want to say without consequence. That's what you're asking.
Yes, it's called a conversation. The rest of the world calls it a conversation when two people talk to each other and then there isn't a bunch of other people like white blood cells swarming the conversation to defend one of the people. That's called a conversation. I'm trying to have a conversation with Steven. If you're not able to allow that to happen, then yeah, I'm going to call you a sycophantic bootlicker. Actually, Pxie, I was trying to talk to you, but then Steven jumped in and instead kind of took your place.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you're making, I guess you keep saying it's a conversation, but really what it sounds like is that you're making a list of demands because your feelings got hurt, which is fine.
Yes, it is a conversation in which I am requesting things of Steven. That's true.
I have one more question.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
Earlier, you said that when it comes to you and your girlfriend talking, and one of them says abuse, the other one has to shut the fuck up. That's not a conversation if one person has to shut the fuck up and just not say anything, right? A conversation requires two people going back and forth.
You can have a conversation. No, I disagree with you. I think you can have a conversation in which a conversation about, for example, if you said, Max, I'm really mad at you, and I said, okay, let's talk about it. I think there'd be an expectation that you're going to be doing a lot of the talking, especially in the first half of that conversation. It's still a conversation.
Okay, so then I have a question. You feel like you haven't had enough time to talk for the past I don't know how often you've talked to Destiny in the past weeks or days. You feel like you have not been able to get your piece across, or you feel like he hasn't given you the time to talk, or what's going on?
What's going on right now is that every time there is a single thread that we could follow in the conversation, someone helpfully comes in to derail it and change the subject. And usually it is in the form of attacking me, discrediting me, trying to make me sound like a hypocrite, trying to make me sound like a crazy person, or whatever. What I think Steven has an ethical obligation to do at this point is to prevent that from happening. He should say, guys, shut up. I want to hear what Max is saying. His feedback is valuable. I respect him as a person. He's my friend, and we work together. I want to hear what he's saying. I think this is important. But that's not happening. Instead, he gets to kind of be the good guy and be like, well, I'm listening to you, but God, all these other people just keep interrupting you. I don't know what's happening. I don't think that's right.
It was my impression that we heard your point and your request, and
you have a false impression. We have not had a meaningful back and forth about. No, every single time I say something, somebody derails, and we've not had a meaningful back and forth where Steven has really engaged with anything I'm saying. A little bit we have, and as far as the definition phase, but as far as like me saying like I think we should set norms around people dunking on each other and tearing each other down, I don't think he's responded to that.
Well, Steven, what do you think? All these things come back to you not saying shit, so why don't you pipe up?
Well, you guys all are having so much fun having this conversation.
Yeah, but that was his complaint. So
yeah, I don't think. I mean, I have like reasonable norms that I set for conversations. We're not doing like racial slurs, or I try to avoid like excessive dogpiling. But like, I don't think I'm going to have different standards for different people based on the size of the audience. That just seems wholly unfair. Like sooner than that, I would just say no small streamers allowed in conversations with big streamers. That's what I would say, because I'm not going to sit here and let some people get away with some things and others not, just because they've got a smaller platform. That's ridiculous to me.
I think if you only talked to big streamers, there would be a lot less abuse of power occurring on your stream.
Okay, I don't want to be
that is a solution, but I don't. Obviously, it would suck for me, but I think that's a good solution.
Okay, I disagree. I think that people, even of different sizes, should be allowed to talk to each other and disagree with each other and be mean to each other if they want to. And I shouldn't have to like say, well, hold on, stop. Now, I know that Lav called you an asshole, Abba, but you're way bigger than her, so you can't call her an asshole because you've got a bigger fan base. I would never be party to that conversation ever.
This is literally the record company argument.
What if you just said that neither of them should do it?
That's not. I don't want to run a daycare for streamers. That's not my goal. It's to say nobody can be mean to anybody. That's just not the style of conversation I do, I guess. People are kind of mean to each other sometimes. It just is what it is.
This is
my turn to derail.
This is exploitative.
Exploitative.
Instead of having a conversation that like keeps, instead of having a conversation where you like prescribe something for Steven, I think that this should just be like an open-ended conversation where you're like, just a reminder of like, this is how I feel, and that's like all you can literally fucking do, which sucks.
Well, but he doesn't want to talk about just how he feels. He wants
no. I'll talk about how I feel.
Change.
I feel like shit. I don't feel good about our professional relationship. I feel bad about it. I don't like how I'm being treated. I really don't like it.
How can he treat you better?
Well, he's already said how.
Yeah, I mean,
well, like action points, I guess, to start.
Okay,
like actionable things.
Actionable things. Stop saying bad things about me when I'm not there to even respond to it.
How does it make you feel when he does that?
It makes me feel misunderstood.
That's retarded.
No, Dan,
no,
stop. I think that this is important.
It makes me feel misunderstood, sad, and alone, and this anxiety that I'm watching the tide turn against me and there's nothing I can do. It is literally like 1984. It's literally 1984. I will have a conversation with you, and then after it's over, you'll just say that I said something that I didn't say, or you'll just say like, oh, you're doing the Max thing. Max plays word game. Like yesterday or 2 days ago, you were like, Max will say to somebody, he'll say something like, I'm gonna rape you. And then they'll get upset, and then his fans will be like, oh, well, you didn't understand what he meant. I know you're joking.
I'm not joking. You literally go that extreme. You say things that are so off the wall, and then you're quiet for like 30 seconds, and then
good. It's good.
Stardust,
so, Steven,
Stardust, chill. This isn't the environment for you guys to resolve your personal differences, okay?
I think we're getting back into prescriptions.
Yes.
I think
what have I said that is as extreme as I'm going to rape you?
What have you said? I don't know if I can think of something right off the bat, but like earlier, the conversation.
Could you think? No, take your time. This is a long form format, long form conversation. Take your time. I want you to take as long as you need to defend what you just said. I say things that are actually as extreme as saying to someone in a conversation, "I'm going to rape you."
What are things that you said? Did you not say in the Stardust conversation that you feel like you're raping her in the conversation?
I did say that.
Okay, I think that you use phrases and terms like that sometimes that are
That's
really
true.
extreme.
Do you think I feel like I'm raping you is as extreme as I'm going to rape you?
Okay, maybe it's not exactly the same, but the
point. Okay, that's all.
You guys are getting a little stuck. You guys.
No, we're not stuck at all. Okay, no, we're making progress.
I want to get on progress. So let's make progress. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. When you say something like that, I know you're making a joke. It's a slight exaggeration, but that done over and over and over again paints a picture of me as somebody I that I am not. I don't know how to explain it. I was watching myself in real time. My reputation and the audience's ability to understand and know me be destroyed.
Okay.
And I hate it. I really
that's fine, but you
hate
do it to yourself as well, right? Where you make an extreme statement, and then
that's my right. It's my right to make people confused about who I am. I don't like it when you do it, though. It fucking sucks.
Okay, my brain won't be able to engage ever, and I think I'm the only person on the internet that would ever be able to. But if you can find other people, I can't do it. If you're gonna constantly say off the wall shit like Dr. K's engagement with Reckful is worse than raping Reckful, or saying that Brittany was like a Nazi.
That's off the wall. I don't think it's off the wall.
Fine. Then I stand by everything that I just said earlier. Then
I think it's really pointed that you bring that up, because what I'm saying is when you have a power differential with another person, there is an extreme amount of responsibility that I place on the person with more power. With Dr. K,
no,
with Reckful,
that's what you just said now. That's what you just said now. It's an extreme power.
With Dr. K and Reckful, let me finish. With Dr. K and Reckful.
We don't need you to explain what you mean. We all know what you mean. I don't know why you want to waste time and re-explain what you meant. We all know it. I agree with what you're saying.
Because you are sneaking in something about me that's a fucking lie, and I want to clear it up.
I'm not sneaking in anything that's a lie. I'm telling you what you
explain it.
We already know what it means. We agree. I agree.
Then let me explain what I think you're sneaking in.
Okay.
What you're sneaking in is that I didn't really mean that. What you're sneaking in is that I'm saying something in a crazy, zany way that I'm not sincerely actually saying.
That's not even true.
And that if pressed about it, I will back off of.
No, that's not even what I've said. I've never. The characterization I give is that you'll say something like, "I'm going to rape you," and then you'll pause for a moment, and they'll be awkward, and then you'll be like, "When I say rape, obviously the definition that I'm using is, I'm going to take advantage of this conversation," or you'll say something completely off the wall, and then you'll give.
Yes, that's a walk back, but I haven't walked this back. I think what Dr. K did with Reckful is worse than rape.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't have the brain. Max fans are right. I just don't have a big enough brain to engage with the topics, I guess. Okay. Sorry, my bad.
I think that you have a blind spot when it comes to responsibility.
Absolutely. You're so... Stop. Okay, hold on. No,
then let me finish. No, let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying. I think you have a blind spot when it comes to interpersonal responsibility, when one person has more power than another person. I think you have a blind spot about Dr. K, and I think you have a blind spot with you and your own orbiters. I think that you don't understand the amount of psychological devastation that you can cause in some of the same people who are defending you right now, who have been raked across the coals by you. I think that you, for some reason, will not actually sit and think about this, which is the same reason that you will not allow it to be done with Reckful and Dr. K. But I do think what Dr. K did to Reckful is worse than rape. I think he harmed him more than a rape would have harmed him. I think it's more egregious and more selfish than it is to literally actually rape someone.
I think a perfect example of this is the Anna situation.
I'm actually about to nuke you from orbit. Lav, this is one of the things where you're too young and actually stupid to even begin to comment on. If you do this, I'll actually lose my shit. Please stop. I already saw your clips talking about it, and I will lose my mind if you try to make an example of this. I'll actually lose it. I'm already losing. I already have lost it. Don't, please, holy shit, stop.
Okay.
Go ahead, Max.
I'm not gonna press. I'm not gonna.
I love you, Lav. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm not going to press you on that, but you do see an extreme amount of resistance to certain criticisms, right? If you're saying you're going to stop, you're going to nuke it from. You're saying you're going to.
Let's do it. I changed my mind. Let's do it. Hold on. No, sorry. Hold on. I completely changed my mind. Lav, I give you permission. Go. Dude, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Bring it up. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go ahead.
Before you respond, I don't want to have judoed you into having to listen to this.
No, I want to. I'm excited. Let's go.
But your first response to it was, I'm going to cut ties with you if you press me on this.
Listen, he thought about it.
I thought about it. You're right.
It doesn't matter what he said after he thought about it. I just want it to be acknowledged that when Lav says, "Hey, I think you mistreated this person really publicly, and I want to press you on it," his first response was, "I will cut ties with you."
I have the right to do that. I don't even know if Lav benefits that much from being on my platform. No, you're saying I don't. You're saying that as part of my response. You're playing the fucking word game again. You're so abusive with the way that you talk, okay? You're doing this double speak where you're like, you have the right to do it, but you're arguing that I ought not to do it, okay? You know what I mean when I say that. Stop trying to dance around the 3 or 4 different definitions you could describe a word at any point in the conversation. You're saying that I ought not to act in a certain way, and I'm saying I can't do that. And you're saying, well, technically you can do that, but that's not what we're talking about. Hold on, stop. You're telling me that it is unethical for me to tell Lav that I don't want to have that conversation with her because it's an abuse of my power. Can you give me a yes or no to that? Or you can use a sentence, but explain what if I'm allowed to do that.
talking too fast.
My question was, do you acknowledge?
I don't know why you're asking me a question. I'm asking you, is it ethical for me to tell Lav, I don't want to talk about that, or I'm going to kick you off of here? Is that an ethical thing for me, or is that unethical? Answer that question.
I don't know. Can I explain?
Oh, I love
Can I explain?
Yes, do it.
Can I explain?
Yes, explain it. I want to hear it.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, go. I'm sorry, because earlier it seemed like you implied exactly that, but go ahead.
I know. Let me explain myself, and
explain
maybe you'll
it.
understand.
Okay.
Okay.
Help me.
My question was, do you see that that is a very defensive reaction? That was all I asked, and you said, but I have the right to do it.
What are you implying when you say defensive?
Wait, stop. I had nothing. I'm actually asking you.
You're not implying anything?
Let me finish explaining this to you, because I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not your fucking enemy. I'm not trying to tear you down. Let me explain this. This is nuanced and complicated, and I'm sure you'll be able to understand it if you just shut the fuck up for a second. When I asked you if you acknowledge that it's defensive, that's not me trying to say you being defensive is automatically disallowed or a bad idea. These are personal relationships that you have with all of us, and she's bringing up another personal relationship, and it is emotionally provocative for you, and there are genuinely good reasons that are non-abusive for you to be like, I don't want to fucking talk. I don't want you to bring this up. Stop bringing up all of my like past everything all at once. I don't want to do all this at the same time. If you want to have a separate conversation about that another time, we can blah, 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 blah. But don't dogpile me. I think that's totally responsible.
That's great if that's what you would have said. But what you said after having oh, Jesus. We got it. You guys have to, you and Lav need to figure out how to explain shit way faster, okay? I don't want the 52 sentences restating the same shit over and over and over again. That's one of the reasons why we're not
up and let me finish, motherfucker.
Circling. I've already gotten the gist of what you said. I understand what you're saying. But what you're not understanding is that when you say that, can you understand that you're getting defensive there?
It could be abusive.
Oh my god.
It could.
That's not the implication, dog. The implication is that I am abusive, that I don't understand these power dynamics, and that I'm leveraging my platform in order to abuse the people here. And when Lav tried to bring something up that she felt was a legitimate argument, and I said, no, I don't want to do that or I'm nuking you, you're going, Destiny, can you please just acknowledge that you literally exemplified my chief criticism of you? That is exactly what you do.
What I'm saying. That's not
okay.
What
can you acknowledge? Okay, fine. Then you're not saying that, Max. I agree with you. Can you acknowledge that 99.999% of people that would hear it would take it that way?
Yes, because you interrupted me before I could make my point. Yes, if you stop me from saying something and then you say something stupid.
Your point was you just wanted me to acknowledge it.
You replace what I'm saying with something stupid. Then yes, they're not going to understand what I'm saying.
You literally were saying. You said acknowledge it.
This is a complicated idea
go for it.
that a lot of people in your audience are too dumb to understand, and I need you to let me flesh it out a little bit. There's no single instance that is going to exemplify police racism. We don't know why George Floyd was killed. We don't know what would have happened if he weren't black. There's no single instance that is going to exemplify an abusive dynamic. It is a constellation of occurrences and behaviors, and no single thing is going to prove anything. You're going to have a justifiable explanation for every single data point. But my point is, I just want to say, as far as we're talking about this, I want to bring up the question of, is it right for you to shoot down allegations of abuse by threatening to nuke people? I don't know if it is. I don't know the answer. But I just want you to be
there's the
thinking about
chance
it.
that
That's
you
all.
don't know the I have thought about it. Here's my thoughts. If somebody wants to discuss something that is private, personal, or uncomfortable to discuss, I think I have a right to say, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know how much more I need to think about that. Can you guide me in that conversation to where other answers could be? Well, actually, Destiny, no. In some cases, you are forced to sit there and endure what was arguably one of the most unbelievable arcs of your entire stream, and that's going to be right now. I want you to talk me through how else could that potentially have gone. Go ahead. I'll wait.
I think there's a few ways you could have approached that. One is you could say, listen, I understand if you think that I was abusive in that situation, but we're only hearing one abuse allegation at a time. All right, so if you want to talk about your feelings, I know, I'm saying Steven could have said this to you. He could have said, if you want to talk about your feelings or Max's feelings, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's
but
all
I don't
Really,
like
stop. Let me answer his question. So that's one way you could answer it. Another way you could answer it is you could say, if you think that this is an example of a broader pattern, let's stick to other things because I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm done talking about. I don't want to talk about her when she's not here. I just don't want to get into it, especially because I'm worried that it's going to, actually affect her if we talk about it. There's a lot of ways for you to acknowledge the validity of her bringing it up, or just say you don't want to talk about it. You don't have to threaten to cut ties with her.
Okay, it's interesting that it seems like you're so excited and so happy to talk about people's boundaries and stuff in other circumstances. But if I want to draw a strong boundary here, like if you do this, I'm done completely. I'm not allowed to have that boundary because of the position that I've assumed as, I guess, the de facto like psychological rape victim because I'm all of your bosses that I never agreed to be. That's pretty insane to me, but okay.
Yeah, I think that the more guarded you are, or defensive, or boundary setting you are around people calling you out for what they perceive as bad behavior, then of course the more inherently abusive the relationship is.
The way that you just phrased that was just, I just went, just perfect. That was so beautifully done. Go ahead. I'm being sarcastic. It was just the way that you frame things is unreal. That the idea of like my position is there's an incredibly dramatic person you've been involved in that's had 2 years of insane interactions with, and Lav wants to bring that up in the middle of this conversation, which we can talk about now if you want to say that, oh, well, if there's something that is uncomfortable for you to discuss and you get defensive about that, that could be an insight that you're actually the abuser in this relationship. The way that you phrased that was unbelievable, but okay.
What I'm saying is every time I try to call you out for anything, you get really defensive.
That's not true. I'll have a conversation with you about anything.
You're doing it right now.
No, it's over her bringing up another person's incredibly complex drama, and I've already heard her thoughts on it.
But when I said that just now, you could have been like, give me an example of me being defensive and guarded. But instead, you start screaming at me that it's not true.
Because you're implying that I'm being abusive by telling someone I'm kicking them off if they do something, and then you're saying, well, I'm not implying that at all. There are other ways that you could have brought it up or whatever, when you absolutely are implying that.
No, what I said is the more guarded you are around criticisms, the more definitionally abusive the relationship is going to be. That's just how it is. If
that's not just how it is. You're giving, this is like abuser 101. If you're trying to criticize somebody and they're being incredibly defensive about it, that's because they're in the wrong. And you have a right to have your criticism heard by that person. And if they're getting more upset about it or emotional about it, they're even more wrong about it. In fact, the more guarded a person is when you're trying to extend into their comfort zone, the more correct you are and the more incorrect they are. That's an unbelievable statement for you to make.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have power over other people, the less feedback you hear from them, the more... What the fuck are you doing, Lav?
Sorry.
If you have power over other people, the less criticism you're willing to hear from them, then the more abusive the relationship will be.
Okay, I think there are certain types of criticism that you don't necessarily have to hear from people, but okay, all right.
It's my turn?
No, Lav, what did you want to bring up? Go for it, yeah.
So one thing, I think that we're using like big words like abuse, and I think that we should probably avoid that when we're talking amongst friends, because I think that you're both trying to paint each other as like somehow, or maybe not trying to, but what
I think it's important to call out
the other person as an abuser.
I disagree.
I just don't think that that's helpful, because when you put out a word like abuser, they're way less likely to take like even look at what Max is saying, and you're effectively doing like what Max is asking you not to do.
Okay, I don't think Steven is an abuser.
No, I don't think that you do.
I think our relationships are set up by the platforms in such a way that they're totally unregulated, and it's just there's going to be inherent abuses of power. I think Steven would have to work really hard to try to push against the inherently abusive nature
with great power
of the setup.
Comes great responsibility. This is why I was going to bring up the Anna thing. I don't think that you did anything on purpose. I don't think that you abused Anna.
Hold on, actually, I'm gonna let you dive into this. I'm gonna let you stop. I'm gonna let you dive into this, Lav. But Lav, for the public record, can you confirm or deny? Have I had like personal conversations with you saying things that like, if you're comfortable talking about this or whatever, like if you want to chat about this, I'm not gonna hold anything against you, blah 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 blah. We've had those explicit conversations, right? Or am I making that up?
Wait, sorry, what?
Have we had explicit conversations offline where I've talked with you about like, if you're comfortable with being on my stream, like that's cool or whatever, or you don't have to come on a chat or blah blah blah? Have we had these conversations privately, or has that never come up before?
Of course I know what I'm getting into when I'm entering your home.
Sure, okay, I just want to be clear. I'm not just like saying like, hey, come join this and see what happens. Like, we've explicitly talked about like, these are the pros, these are the cons, what happens. Like, I have these conversations. I'm pretty sure with Pxie, I think I've had that conversation too. I've explicitly generally had conversations with people. It's like, hey, sometimes the audience get rough, sometimes it's gonna happen. Like, if you do or don't want to talk about this, I'm not gonna hold this, blah, blah. I just want to be said that I do have these conversations offline with you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I think that the problem is that you don't understand that your platform is like a magnet because of like the level of like fame and attention, and also like
of course I understand.
Misunderstanding you and understanding you like becomes very addictive, and it seems like you actually don't understand. Like, I think
no, stop. I'm going to say something. Hold on, stop, because this is my whole career. Of course I understand that. How could you even imply that I don't? Obviously, there's going to be a certain level of exposure that people like enjoy when they come onto platforms like this. But I mean, like, I can't do it. That's the responsibility of you to manage, unless I feel like somebody is engaging with it in an incredibly irresponsible manner. Like, you're coming on and you're being self-destructive over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, okay, well, this is probably not a healthy way for you to engage. But don't say that, like, oh, I don't think you understand what it's like. Of course I understand. I've been doing this for 12 years.
Steven,
go ahead.
You're misunderstanding me. I'm not saying. Listen, I understand that you're obviously in defense mode because I think that Max is going pretty hard on you.
I'm not in defense mode. I'm in super jovial mode.
No, you absolutely are.
Okay, stop. Then don't talk to me. If you think I'm too retarded because I'm in defense mode, then don't talk to me. I can't even hear you. I'm too defensive right now, Lav. I'm sorry. I'm too defensive. I can't understand what you're saying. Max can talk to me again if he wants.
I think that it is a normal human response to be defensive in this moment. I don't think you're overdoing it. I don't think it makes sense.
I'm not defensive. I've thought about these topics for years before either of you were either into doing any of this thing for them. So for both of you to come in and be like, I don't think you've ever even considered for a fact what the power differentials are like. Obviously I have. I've thought about all of this a lot.
Steven, I know that you do. I think that, like I just said, I think that Max is going very hard on you. I think that he probably agree that you do a lot to quell it.
Okay. Why are you ready? Hold on. Max is not even going very hard on me. I think most of what he's saying is reasonable. Max could probably be a lot meaner if he wanted to be. I don't think Max is going super hard. We're just having a heated discussion. And obviously he disagrees with some things I do. But Max is not like, yeah, I don't think Max is going super ultra hard on me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to disagree with everything you say. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right. Like, yeah, Matt, how does it feel, Lav? How does it feel, Lav? I hope it feels real bad.
On.
Yeah, good. If you start crying again, turn on your camera. I'm going to watch it, okay?
What the fuck is happening?
I love you guys.
Sorry, you're saying something about abuse, Lav, and
I was saying
that he didn't think he abused.
She was saying okay. I think she was picking up off of what I was saying. Where I'm not trying to say that you're an abusive person or that you are an abuser. I'm saying that the relationship, the setup of the relationship is almost inherently abusive, and that you would have to fight really hard against it and put protections in place. And I don't feel, for myself, I don't feel those protections are being put in place. I feel like banning my fans and banning me from your subreddit was one pretty strong example.
Hold on. MrGirl, you're.
Well, I don't want to hold on. I want to finish what I'm saying, motherfucker.
I know, but Lav. You really got to finish on this Anna stuff, because that's like a super, like, that was a crazy thing to say. You think
did you hear what she said about her on stream?
No, like, good Lav, I want you to flesh out your position right now. Don't feel fearful, but like, say what you mean.
I want to finish what I'm saying.
You will go next, MrGirl. Come on, you know you have 80% of this. Just wait.
Steven just
wait.
What I was saying.
No, he takes it back. Take it back, Steven.
No, I take it back.
I don't want to do this.
He took it back.
I don't want to do this.
Okay, let MrGirl finish. Go ahead.
All right, you better be quick. Go. This is not quick.
I think that when you play good cop, bad cop with your mods and let them fucking smear me and ban me and silence me, I understand you're not doing that intentionally, but it comes off like you're like, well, I don't know what they're doing, blah blah blah, while they're fucking me, and that's one example. And then there's other stuff like what you saying that I would tell somebody I'm gonna rape them and then walk it back as like, oh, I was just saying an interesting idea when I would never fucking do that. Feels like you are not like those. I understand why you're saying those things and doing those things, but it feels like you're not proactively trying to prevent harm from being done to me. Feels like you're letting bad shit happen to me, and it hurts, and I'm mad, and I think it's wrong.
Okay, I have to go quickly. I'm just gonna give my final thought on this very quickly. It just seems like you guys are trying to absolve your personal responsibility of what you say and like the impressions people are gonna have and like the reactions people are gonna have.
He's saying I said stuff I didn't say. That's not like it's not personal responsibility. If Steven's like, Max says things like he tells people he's gonna rape them, and I'm like, well, I never said that, and he's like, yeah, okay, but basically you
not
did.
that exact
like, no, that's not me trying to absolve myself of
Max,
responsibility for stuff I said. I didn't fucking say that.
You say extreme things that other people.
Okay, but you can't swap just because I said an extreme thing or thing you find extreme.
The thing
Doesn't
is
mean you can
that when
swap it
say
out. Doesn't mean you can swap it out for another thing that's also extreme and be
I'm
like,
not saying
yeah,
that's
they're
the
both
perfect-
pretty extreme. And you basically
no,
you haven't told anybody you'll rape them, but you
Max,
basically did. You basically
No,
would.
you talked
would threaten
about rape.
Are you leaving,
scenario or
Pxie?
similar
Pxie,
enough.
this is not a
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
leaving thing. Come on.
Okay, let me finish. Then. What
All
I'm
right.
saying is that when you say extreme things or extreme sentences, those are prone for people misinterpreting them or for people not understanding exactly what you said. And you have a responsibility for the words that you say, and it just looks like both
I
you
do, but I
and
don't
Lav
have a
just seem to be
responsibility for things
off-putting.
that
Hey, let me finish.
Steven makes
This is my
up
final
that I
sentence.
didn't
This is
say.
my final sentence, Max. Let me finish, and then you can go off. So you guys are trying to put that responsibility onto Steven because he has a bigger platform, and you're trying to make him responsible for the reactions that happen across his platform when you guys share responsibility too. When you guys say something extreme, when you guys say something stupid, when you guys say whatever, yeah, like part of that responsibility of how people respond to that is onto you. And you can't just pretend that because Destiny has a bigger platform, oh, now it's abusive if he's not doing a perfect job at regulating it. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I gotta go.
I don't think Steven making something up that I didn't say is really
Hold on,
me
bye,
calling him out
Pxie. Can we
and me
we'll
calling
get
him
another?
out for that. I don't think that's me saying he's not doing a perfect job at regulating it. I'm saying he literally just made something up that I didn't say.
Bye, Pxie. I hope that we're gonna get. Actually, we're gonna make sure that we get round 2 of you and Mind Waves. Me and the King here are gonna. We'll get that going soon. We just gotta get Mind Waves back in the fold. So
There's just
have a
something
good
I
one.
have to confess to real quick. Destiny, as your actual employee, that is actually employed by you. I feel so abused by
Stop!
MrGirl
You're not
and
contributing
my friends.
anything positive to this. Stop! Leave! Bye. I hope your bees die.
Okay. Good. Now, Lav.
Wait, I want to acknowledge that was
I-
like actually like a
No. Hold on.
that was
One
was
thing
good.
at a time.
I think
One-
that was nice that you
Great.
did that.
Did what?
I think it. Yeah,
Who?
I think that was actually very like responsible. I think that that's literally what Max is talking about. And I think that if you make like little behaviors like that, I don't think Max is asking for like you to change your whole outlook, but I think that he's just like, I want to see some effort that you are like trying to protect me from being like a lol cow or all these things, because I think he also sees you as his friend. And so to some degree, I think that he wants you to take responsibility for his, not his happiness, but for you to feel like you want to protect someone that you care about. I think is a very normal human feeling.
I hate to bring it back here because it feels like there's a little bit of dodging and whatnot, but we need to get back to your comments on how Steven handled this situation.
I know you love this.
Well, yeah, so do you want to avoid it? Because you talked about it on stream. If you don't want to talk about it again because you feel what you said was wrong and incorrect, you can say that and we can move on and say nothing else.
No, it's not that I feel it was like anecdotal in the moment, and it was going to be like, I don't think that, Steven, you realized like that it was going to become bigger than you immediately after it was like platformed and made public. But then it snowballs. And then now, a year later, I'm getting hordes of people joining my stream from DGG, trying to kick it up with me a year later, someone who was not involved whatsoever. Like, it becomes something that is so much bigger than you, that you just like, you need to exert extra effort. And I know that sucks, but extra effort to make sure that it doesn't get to that point. Like, by explicitly being like, any mention of this in my platform or other people's platform, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you guys be uncharitable to someone. Like, I don't know. I think that I think that you think that there are better ways that you could have handled that. I wasn't bringing that up as a gotcha, something that you haven't heard
I don't
before.
think there's a single thing I could have done differently. Wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
That seems like an extreme statement.
Well, what do you think he did wrong, Lav? Like you said,
Okay, whatever. It was like a small piece of anecdotal evidence. You've been building it up like it was going to be this like extra drama.
Okay, well,
The
this is
problem,
like
hold on, real quick. The problem that I had was you were on your stream last night saying like, oh, she's like a totally normal person.
No, I said that she was obviously triggered by something.
Hold on, did you not say that she's just a normal person?
I think in her everyday life, she is normal.
What is this? Dude, you are a professional dancer.
Snaky is the term.
No, that's what I said. No, that's what I said. I think that she was triggered by you, and obviously she had a response that her mental illness would, exacerbate. But I think that
like by literally saying that, now you've removed her from the pool of normal people by saying mental illness.
I don't think that that's true. I think everyone has neuroses, but
do you think everyone is mentally ill?
In their own way.
Yes, yes, I love it. Thank you, Lav. That's what I needed. Yes.
Wait, that's such a dodge.
No, it's not. It was so good. Oh, yes, I needed that. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you, Lav.
No, I think, but you've got it. She's obviously not the worst. The worst moment that she's ever had is not her, right?
On my stream.
Yeah, like the craziest that she ever acted with you, and she was like crying or whatever. Like that is not how she goes day to day.
Just to be clear, you said that she was a good person and she was correct in her assumptions of what she said about Steve.
I never said those words ever.
Okay, we can pull up the clip.
Yeah, you can pull up the clip because I never said that she was correct in her assumptions about Steve.
Okay, give us 30 seconds. I'm muting. We're watching.
Please don't bring her up. She will go off again, Lav. I don't think she will. I think that Anna is actually very normal, and I think that Steven was a trigger for her, but I think she is a very great normal girl, and I don't like the way that you guys talk about her. How do I get terminally online girlfriend? TikTok. Yeah, you're right, you got me. Like, what? I literally told you exactly what I said. Like, what? You got me.
What is the implication? I don't understand how you...
What the fuck implication? I said don't come into my stream talking shit about Anna.
Okay, hold on, Lav. Look at me.
No. I'm not gonna let you live this down.
No, I'm grabbing your face. I just want to have this one, just on this one thing.
You're grabbing my face?
Yes, just on this one thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you point to a conflict between two people and you say on one side, I think that person is incredibly normal. Steven just triggered her, but she's like super normal and great. What do you think is the implication there?
Trigger for her.
What does that mean? Who was in the wrong?
You were in the wrong.
That's not how I think. That's not how I think. That's how you think.
Can I explain it, Lav?
No, I want to know, what do most people think when they hear that? What is the implication?
Appeal to most people? How the f do I know?
Okay, I just want you to say that while you're on here saying Destiny, you need to have the greatest responsibility in the world of mind controlling your whole audience and protecting every single person. And then when it comes to Lav on stream, it's like, how am I supposed to know how the f anybody thinks I'm not a human? How can you have both positions?
I'm sorry, that is like fully not what I fucking did.
That was exactly. That's what you just did.
And also to say that 11,000 people watching is different, is the same thing as 200 people watching.
It is because you're making a comment about me, and that's gonna reverberate around my community.
Mm-hmm.
The comment I made about you is just that you triggered her. Come the f on.
If somebody triggered somebody else, where does the responsibility generally lie?
The trigger.
The trigger? Not that you didn't necessarily do it on purpose. I didn't say that it was malignant or that you did it with malintent. You obviously just did something that triggered her.
But he did something.
It could have been unbeknownst to you. That's how relationships work. We trigger each other.
But it was his fault. It was an action that he took that caused it.
No, it was nobody's fault.
It was nobody's fault. Hallelujah.
This is why. Sorry, I had to say it. This is sneaky behavior. This is what.
Okay. I would like to say something. This is what I'm talking about. Where when there's interpersonal conflict, like with Stardust. Okay, I'm having a big fight with Stardust on my stream. Stardust is not defined as a crazy, mentally ill psychopath. There's no dog pile. There's no Stardust is like a terrible person. There's no she's an insane, crazy stalker who can't let this go. I don't talk about her that way, and my community doesn't talk about her.
Well, because I don't think Stardust acted that way. She definitely made a huge fucking mistake, and it was definitely cringe as f***, and you're definitely right color on that, but...
Stardust tweeted out a video of me exposing my stomach, and then said it was my pubic hair, and then blurred it so that you couldn't see what it was.
Yeah, that's really bad, but that's far different than 1 to 2 years of extra online accusations.
Okay,
I'm not absolving her.
I'm just saying that in the way I talk about people, in the way people are defined on my stream, there doesn't have to be a bad guy.
Okay, well, on my stream, when Anna, like, 1 week ago was saying I sexually abused her, I'm gonna go ahead and say there's a bad guy there, okay? I think I might have the right to do that.
Yeah, well, Stardust a week ago was saying I sexually abused her, and I'm saying you don't have to do that.
That's great.
You don't
and
have to say...
If Stardust said that about you after 2
here's-
years of stalking and harassing you, then I would say you probably could call that a kind of a crazy person.
I know, I could.
But you don't want to, that's fine. But that's your platform. That's what you can do on your platform.
I know. Okay, so we have different platforms. We already agree that my channel is different from yours. We already understand that. The point I'm making is I'm trying to explain what Lav is saying to you. What Lav is saying is that there doesn't have to be an explanation that either you or Anna is a mentally ill, terrible person.
There kind of needs to be. Because if both sides are making strong claims, for you to sit in the middle, like, obviously delegitimizes one side more than the other.
I think you're thinking like content-wise.
No! I hate you. I hate you. You just said that. I hate you. I hate you. Lav. I need you to say you understand that I hate you. Stop. Okay. Lav. It is not. I'm sorry. I don't hate you. It's not.
I don't. Okay.
It's not.
Steven,
no, it's not about.
I don't want to be the bad guy.
No, it's not about content. Okay? If, let's say that there was a scenario where one person locked somebody in a fucking basement for 5 years and refused to feed them and beat the shit out of them every day, and then that person comes out and somebody's like, what do you think about that situation? You're like, man, you know, it was really complicated, and I think somebody just triggered the other one, but like, I wouldn't say that one person was the bad guy there. How do you think the person was locked in the fucking basement would feel?
Did you lock Anna in a basement? I must have missed that
I
part.
was locked in the basement of her psychosis. I might even still be there. I'm not entirely sure. I have to use the
Honestly,
restroom.
me
I'll be
too,
right back.
apparently.
Hold on. 1 sec. I'll be back, okay?
Lav, I think you should just bite the bullet and say that if there is a narrative that our general agreement that one person is crazy, and then you talk about the situation in an even-handed way, it's going to come across like you're saying that blame lies in both parties. If blame for the abusive interaction lies with both parties. Now, you might actually think that, and maybe you guys have to have like an argument about that. But I think Steven's saying that her behavior is so bad that to talk about it in a even-handed way is unfair to him. So I feel like
no, all the complexities of it. I didn't think it was that fucking deep.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way to push back against that is to just say like, I don't think she did lock you in a basement. I think it's more complicated than that. I'm not saying it's your fault or anybody's fault. I'm just saying that I think you participated more in the dynamic than you're owning right now.
I do feel that way.
I know.
I don't think that Steven is in the place right now where he's gonna like hear me say something like that, and I think he's gonna tell me that it's manipulative and sneaky, and I don't want to put myself in that trap.
So you're going to be manipulative to not get called manipulative, huh?
Not manipulative, but I'm definitely I'm gonna choose my battles, I think. You got me, oh no, from both sides. This is fucking horrible, I cannot win.
Wow, Lav.
Holy
Woman
shit.
moment.
I'm about to
Woman
have.
moment.
I'm about
Woman
to have.
moment.
Oh my
Woman
god,
moment.
Max!
Woman moment.
Oh my
I'm just
fucking
kidding.
god.
I'm just kidding.
Basement.
I'm just fucking with you, Lav.
I know you are, but the people
I know, but
watching.
I need the
people watching. Hold on,
I know.
Max, the people watching.
I know. That's why I said that. I didn't say it for you. I said it for our some of our challenged audience members, so they can following along the conversation.
Acting so fucking autistic for what? For what?
Darius, chill.
It's like, how are you going to repeatedly say that it's not equivalent? You are constantly being autistic. Constantly. Stardust being autistic once is a completely different realm than you going on stream every day. I wake up and acting like a fucking spurg. Just shut the up. Stop defending her.
Who are you talking to?
Both of you! I don't even know how you're defending her! I don't know how you're defending this thought process! I generally don't f***ing get it! I just don't get it!
Which thought process?
Lavs!
Wait, what?
What thought process are you talking about?
When you're saying that it's not, like, when Stardust gets labeled as mentally ill or whatever for these autistic things, and or Anna's getting labeled as mentally ill when it's, like, completely different. What? It's not like the same thing. Stardust fucks up, And it's like, okay, we up. She says, oh, I'm sorry. She goes on to say, I'm sorry. She makes cringe jokes because she's a cringer who gives a fuck. But then Lav goes on, and then Anna goes on her stream every day. I'm autistic. Look at me. I do this too. I go, I'm autistic. Guys, I'm autistic. And I do this repeatedly on repeat. So much. And I know what's happening. And sometimes I get upset. And sometimes I tweet about it. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I get upset, whatever. But at least I shut the fuck up. You know, I don't go on stream and try to defend myself. I don't act like a fucking spurg every fucking day. Just shut the fuck up.
Okay. You're saying that because the situation with Anna lasted so much longer, it's more fair to make a character assessment?
I mean, I guess, yeah, and it lasted longer. It repeated. It didn't just last longer. It repeated over and over.
So you're saying, therefore, it's more fair to make a character assessment about her than it would be to make a character assessment about Stardust?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's a fine argument, but I
But how did we not think of that at the start? That's what I'm saying. Like, how? I'm retarded. I didn't graduate.
Because it's not really relevant to what I'm talking about. Here's the problem. The more mentally ill somebody is, the less you should be shitting on them on your stream over and over again.
So why the fuck is Lav in here?
So the problem with calling somebody mentally ill after a two years long protracted public interaction with them is that if you really think they're mentally ill, that actually takes more of the onus away from them and puts it on you as the responsible party with more power, and the person who's making it public and platforming it over and over.
Steven let some fucking schizo retard come in here and talk about how she's getting raped by Discords every day. Nina or whatever. Steven lets anybody come on this fucking stream and talk. It's like it doesn't fucking matter.
Clearly, that's true.
He just lets niggas talk. I don't think that should be going on. It's whatever it is, what it is. But listen, Steven will do the he wants. He let me yell at Melina. You know, I don't know why the he let me do that, but he did, and it's one thing he does. Why can't we just accept that and move on?
So it sounds like you could understand why if you're saying part of the thing you like about him is that he does things that could be portrayed as irresponsible, then you can understand why some of his friends would be calling him out on it.
Sure. But I mean, like, you came into this community and everyone came into this community with already that assumption. The reason why everybody's even here is because Steven's so easy to get on stream with and just start talking about whatever you want, because he just gives that off, because he's sitting there playing video games all day with no content, and he just lets people kind of just come on and chat.
Yeah, there's upsides to that and there's downsides to it. I think one of the downsides is that once you're in the community, once you're part of the harem, then you start feeling like getting dogpiled repeatedly in this cycle, and like you can be self-referential and like acknowledge it and make jokes about it, but it's fucking terrible to watch your credibility tank every few weeks or every couple months, and have his finger on the scale making it tank, where he's banning people who defend you, banning people who like you, banning you from the ability to even communicate about it or talk about it in a way where his audience is going to hear it. Or you can come on, but like if you come on, the deck is so stacked against you when you're talking to him anyways. So like, yeah, you can come on, you can be on the show, but eventually your role will be solidified as some form of loser or retard after enough time goes on, and it sucks. And I don't like it, and I don't think it should be that way. So I'm complaining about it.
Yeah, take it up with forethought. I gotta go.
What is it? My turn now? Wait, did I do it?
No, it's Darius. Well, I don't think is Steven even here.
No, he's in the bathroom.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, from a viewer perspective, do you understand that you're basically telling Steven to pull punches to the people he's talking to, and that fucking sucks as a viewer?
You can. Do you think I pull punches?
Yeah, I do think sometimes. I mean, you try to frame things in like an overly charitable way sometimes, and I think kind of the appeal of Steven is like why many people watch him is because we feel like he's gonna be like brutally honest with people. Like nobody wants to watch Steven talk to somebody who's clearly being f***ing stupid and then not saying that they're being stupid. Like that then just feels bad as a viewer.
I think there's probably a way to call people stupid in a short term or less meaningful way, but then I think if you're going to do that, you have to give people an ability to fight back. You have to not ban people from the subreddit if you're going to do that. And I think you have to you got to do other stuff to make it more fair if you're going to punch down. But he's not doing any of the other things that you would do to mitigate that either.
Yeah, but isn't coming on the stream and talking your case the fighting back, right? Like I don't think Steven is gonna call people stupid, or at least I don't think the viewers are gonna like if Steven calls people stupid when they're
Yes,
not
but
being
he does
stupid, right?
he does so many things to make it impossible to do that. So like
Get on stream and talk.
Yeah, you can get on stream and you can make noise with your mouth, but you can't actually get a thought out without somebody interrupting you or somebody derailing you. Then Steven derailing from the person who derailed you, or Steven himself saying, yeah, you said you would threaten to rape somebody, and then being like, oh, maybe you wouldn't threaten to rape somebody. I don't know. Let's watch the clip. And then you're like, well, the clip didn't say what you said it said. And he's like, well, it doesn't matter what it said. That doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Just like an endless stream of evasive derailments, so that you never actually get to feel like the shit I want to talk to Steven about would probably take 20 minutes if we were off stream.
No. That's insane. Taking 20 minutes to have a conversation? That's actually.
You should watch me have a conversation with somebody who's not actually trying to not understand what I'm saying, or who is not able to, and then I think you'll find that I'm actually pretty.
I think that's only something no one's ever seen before, so I'm excited.
I think it's a fair point, Max, because I think a lot of the people in here just hate you. So it makes it hard. But
well, wait, hold on. For the people in here that fucking hate him, probably Abba. I think Dan 50-50 and Forethought for sure. But I think Lav is a strong MrGirl supporter. I don't hate Max.
Stardust and Chaeiry also were here.
I don't hate him. I'm equal.
Dan is an agent of chaos, so I think Dan is actually pro Max.
Okay, but Steven, we do acknowledge, Steven, that if we were not on stream, this conversation would probably be a lot shorter and more concise.
Oh yeah, of course. But you joined when there were like 6 people in here, right?
Yes, that's true. But yeah, I think we both have. I mean, we're not just talking to each other, obviously.
Sure. So. I have no problem with you joining, by the way. But I mean, obviously, you came in with a ton of people here, and then to back up Lav in an argument, so of course it's going to snowball into some crazy shit, right?
Yeah. First mistake. Defending me.
I know.
Lav, I won't defend you, but I'm just going to say you're walking into a trap. Don't do it.
Stop. Forethought, leave. Go take care of your bees.
By the way, Max, if that's the solution you wanted, why didn't you just ask Steve? Like, would you say no to that, Steven? Like, if he said, "Hey, do you want to talk about this for like 15 minutes off stream?"
Yeah, that's fine. I think Lav earlier asked if she wanted to talk off stream. I was like, yeah, sure.
No. I know.
Wait, so why don't you just do that if that's what you wanted?
Because
there's two separate conversations that need to be had. There's a personal conversation that is to have obviously me and Steven, or Max and Steven, understand each other on a more personal level away from, everyone. And then there needs to be a public conversation, unfortunately, because now there's like a third beast where I think that Max and I both feel like we need to be heard to some extent. Lay it all on the table, take it or leave it.
Yes, I feel like I'm getting dogpiled, and it's so hard to fight back against, because the problem I have is that I have so little ability to write the narrative about who I am and what's happening and what role I'm playing, because Steven has like 99% of the power. So I am trying to use my 1% to throw my little pebble in the river and say like, well, I stood up for myself. I tried.
Is it Steven you want to talk to, or is it his community? Right? Because
it's both. It's both. I want the community to see how I am talking to him.
So then ask for a one-on-one conversation on stream. Or?
Yeah. I probably should have done that.
I mean, okay. Well, good luck.
I probably should do it. Steven, do you want to have a one-on-one conversation about this sometime?
Absolutely, whenever you want, buddy. I'm just waiting for... Right now I have to go do a Red Pill show real quick, and then I need to get off by 10 because I can't stay up for 12 fucking hours streaming every day. But yeah, anytime.
All right, I'll DM you and we can set it up.
Gotcha. Any other?
Just don't ruin the stream content, Max. That's all I'm asking.
How did Max?
Well, I think that
it's maximum content.
He's saying that he's saying that if you're ethical, then it will be less entertaining.
No. What I said was that it feels like what Max is saying is that he wants you to pull punches, Steven, and like from the people you're talking to. If they're being really dumb, then he wants you to not call them really dumb because you have like a responsibility. And I said that fucking sucks as a viewer. Like, we don't want to see you beat around the bush.
There's probably a way to. Okay, what I think one thing that Steven, that you do that's really devastating is you'll say, I'm ultra charitable to you. I'm being really charitable to you. I'm being really nice to you. You're a dumb fuck. I think the combination of, I think if there was an acknowledgement that you're like, no, I'm gonna fly off the handle, I say crazy shit that I don't mean, blah blah blah. But I think if you paint yourself as not mean and then you say something really mean, I think that it has the effect of making the mean thing hit like 3 times as hard.
Yeah, but if
I'm okay with that. The mean thing should hit 12 times as hard because you've gotten to the point where I'm being mean to
That's
you.
what we want to see.
If you've gotten to the point where I want to be mean, and I've been so nice, then good, you've earned it.
Okay. So I believe that it may be possible for him to engage in blood sports, Dario, and put measures in place that would counteract the negative psychological effects on the people he's playing with. But I don't feel like any of those are in place right now.
I feel like I watched Steven content for a while, and I feel like that's like an implicit thing. Like when you come on his stream and you have like heated debates with him, like if he thinks you're being really dumb, he's gonna call you dumb, and everybody understands that's what's happens, right? So like,
sure, we can all understand something's happening, and I can still say, well, I think that the way he's doing this is bad for people, and that it should change a little.
well, sure, but it sounds like so maybe to use an analogy, right? You're saying if you want to do the Walmart thing, you're saying, well, you're coming to work at Walmart and you're a vegan. And then you're telling them, hey, stop selling meat because I think selling meat is immoral. And they're like, well, this fucking Walmart. the point is like that's what people come here for. Like
it could be. I don't think I'm asking for that extreme of a change.
So I think in theory I agree with a lot of what you say about like being ethical and stuff, but I feel like especially in this case with Lav, which was what sprung all of this on, I feel like that's pretty extreme what you're asking. I feel like everybody who is I feel like everybody who's watching the content is feeling that she is being very dumb and like inconsistent in her views.
That's because he is defining her that way. He doesn't have to do
that.
That is absolutely not true. But go ahead, carry on.
That's what I believe.
You're wrong. If that's the case, then why is it that me saying she wasn't dumb for months didn't move my community on it? Here's what happened. For over a month, people are like, Lav is dumb, and I'm like, no, she's not. And then one time I call her dumb bitch, and they still say Lav is dumb, and you're like, that's your fault, Destiny. How does that make any sense?
I think the whole thing was your fault.
Okay.
Why?
Because I think that Steven is defined as the winner of almost every debate and discussion.
Because it's my stream, of course. And on your stream, people are going to define you as the winner. And okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I know. I understand that. Well, no, that's not true. On my stream, people don't define me as the winner.
Okay, then on my stream, that's not true either, because there's times when my community vehemently disagrees with me. So
yeah, okay. So I think there's a way to do that doesn't throw the other person under the bus, but I think the way you do it or the way your community does it, the way you debate people, I can't define exactly what's happening, but I maybe it's just a thing where you're not proactive about steel manning enough. But I think you can communicate to your community that Lav is dumb without actually explicitly ever saying it.
Because I disagree with her. Because I've said explicitly multiple times that I don't think she's dumb. And I've snapped at people for saying she is dumb. And not only that, because fuck that. Because honestly, if somebody, I don't care what you said. How have you treated her? I have had her on the stream multiple times to have in-depth, fleshed-out conversations about what she believes, why she believes the things she believes. And I've explicitly told her, I think these are the problems people have. I do not treat her ever like a stupid person. There are people that I deal with that I treat like stupid people, and she is not one. Like, if you ask my community what my opinion is of Lav, they're either going to say he's a simp or, well, he has a lot of respect for her, I guess, because she's a developing person. No one is going to say, oh, Destiny thinks that she's really fucking stupid. That doesn't make any sense. None of my behavior and none of my words have sold that, ever.
Okay, well, I just disagree with you. I think you own a lot of your community's vitriol towards Lav.
Oh, okay.
And me.
I can't. I don't think I've ever disagreed ever with a statement in my entire life, but...
Yeah, and I think the way I'm portrayed in your community is you've signaled to your community that that's how they should view me.
So am I just not allowed to share my views of anybody or anything? Like, because if I say something, I imply it, and then it's not good. If people don't like somebody because I've implied something about them that I've said that because of how I view somebody, or
No, I think it's more subtle and complicated than that. I don't think it's that you shouldn't say anything bad about anybody ever, or criticize anybody. I mean,
if I think that the way that you, so here's something I believe. I think that the way that you and Lav conduct conversations, I think resembles a lot of abuse or is abusive. If that's something that I believe, should I just never share that opinion or imply that at all? Is that just something I should never do?
No, you just asked me that. That's not what I'm saying. I think if you're going to say bad things about people, you should give them more leeway to push back. I'm banned from your I'm banned from your sub, and anybody
who cares about the sub? Any of you are
allowed. I do. Wait, stop. I care about it. Okay. Stop. Don't tell me who cares about the sub. You read it. I read it. Everybody read. We all read it. I care about it. I am banned from being able to defend myself. So if you want, you got 99% of all the sway. You have all the power. You get to pummel me, punching down, and then tie my fucking hands behind my back and put duct tape over my mouth to boot. And still, in my last final moments, I'm still getting fucking posts with 700 upvotes. That's how fucking good I am at arguing. That's how good I am at challenging you. That I'm able to fucking fight back even when the odds are stacked against me that much, and you still have to fucking put duct tape over my mouth and cut my throat.
Or maybe
That's
it's just
up.
that a lot of my community disagrees on some things anyway, and it's not actually the massive circle jerk that you think it is.
Dude, you banned me and you banned all my fans.
After you declared war on us, and they were astroturfing the fuck out of the sub. Yes.
I can't astroturf your sub. All my fans are just your fans.
But it's my sub. When you guys treat the sub as your own and present it as opinions of like, oh, these are just like, it feels a little bit like astroturfing, of course. And then when you're dictating to me how I ought to moderate it, like, so that it maximizes your community's involvement to defend you in my subreddit.
No.
Yeah, of course that's how it feels.
No, it's not because I don't want to maximize my involvement. I want you to not fucking drag me across the coals and not let me respond. You get to shit
I don't
on
drag
me
you
as much
across
as
the.
you want.
If I was like making Reddit posts shitting on you constantly, I can understand that. But like,
you don't have to. You just say whatever you want about me, and then all of your fucking fans will make 5,000 posts repeating what you said. You know, somebody. This is how I know. This is how I know that your community has lost its mind. Somebody made a post the other day that said, "Does anybody else think MrGirl's water jar is cringe?" That's how far it's gone.
It's like such a low bar.
That's how I know. That's how far it's gone. You guys are lost. But yeah, it's totally duplicitous and bullshit for you to sit there and be like, no, we can all just roll in the mud together, except you don't get to speak in the only forum where you can actually have any like effective pushback. If you're gonna define me as your like autistic, retarded little brother that needs you to translate for me every time I speak because I'm too mentally ill and too lost and narcissistic to be able to understand how anybody else is thinking or feeling ever, don't you think it would be fair for you to at least let me fucking defend myself a little bit?
Well, the water jug.
It's like, yeah, it's this huge amplification.
Hold on, I need you to add addendums to all of this to defend yourself on the sub, because I let you come on a stream and talk about anything you ever want ever at all points in time, always. So don't be like you never let me defend. I just know you just got banned from the sub. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you let me defend myself on stream, but stream is difficult because you are in control of the flow of the conversation usually, or there's other people defending you or running interference for you. So on stream, it's not really.
That's not true. What you just said was wrong. First
You're interrupting me like right now.
Yeah, of course I am, because you just lied. Sorry, go ahead and finish, and then I'll.
Okay, yeah, but I don't think I'm lying, and you think I am. Guess who the audience is going to agree with?
There is a fact of the matter. We have had one-on-one conversations where no one is running defense. So that is not true, number one. And number two, I don't direct the conversation. When it's a one-on-one conversation, we go wherever you want to go. Like, it literally happens.
It doesn't feel like it.
During the Nazi conversation, did it feel like I was in control for both of those conversations? Okay.
During the Nazi conversation, I felt, were pretty evasive, and you're just with the
evasive because you disagreed with me, just to be clear.
No, evasive because you were not answering my fucking questions. Like evasive, regular, the real meaning of evasive. But it's not. There's an imbalance because it's your stream and your audience. So when you're evasive, nothing happens. You get to just kind of like evade. And if I call you out on it, then I'm looping. But if I'm evasive and you call me out on it, then I was being evasive and you were being like smart. So it's like, yes, I get to push back on stream, but there ain't nothing like a blank page, just me and my keys and the blank page, and being able to just say what I want without you reframing it in the middle of me saying it, or you changing the subject, me having to chase you down a fucking rabbit hole of whatever, anything that I feel is happening. None of that shit happens. So like, yeah, I think if you're gonna talk shit about me and call me a Mr. Gaslighter, whatever the fuck, I think that I should be able to defend myself unimpeded on the subreddit. I think that's fair.
Where are we at, Dan? I gotta take off pretty soon to do this show that I agreed to do 30 minutes ago. So,
what is the show?
It's some fucking show with Alex about red pill dating shit.
Fuck it.
I wasn't allowed yesterday because I was out of town. It's already fucking.
Why do you commit to this cringe shit? Who's on it?
I didn't know I was gonna be doing the Avengers for the 5th Infinity War tonight again.
Well, that's what you get when Papa Bear is back in town. You should have known. Oh, real quick, MrGirl, your post about saying that you were right about him and normalizing Nick. You believe you were right and that was correct and he did that and that, you know, all that stuff there. Like more. There was pushback in that thread. How do you feel about that?
Pushback against Steven?
Your thread, but yeah, well, no, against you, saying that you're wrong and you're delusional on that thread. Because I think there's a lot of contention with that thread specifically. So yeah, how do you feel about that thread in general?
I think. What do you mean? That's great. If you disagree with me, then you can respond. I think that's fine. What are you asking me?
Trying to think of the best way to put it, I guess.
Why am I banned from your subreddit?
Because you threatened to delete our subreddit by contacting Reddit admins.
They contacted me.
It doesn't matter. You publicly made a threat, and so if you threaten the existence of the subreddit or do anything to try to destroy my career or my ability to speak on any platform, you get banned from the subreddit.
I can't even defend myself. I'm not even a content creator. I don't even have a platform.
You can defend yourself, but if you threaten the existence, if you make an existential threat to get me deplatformed, then obviously you're banned because we don't want you coming in and stirring up shit and then using people's responses to you to get me fucking deplatformed.
I just thought you stood for free speech.
I do. That's why you're banned, because you don't. And you're threatening the platform.
So much for the tolerant left.
Fucking kill me.
I mean, I was totally tolerant of you or anybody who agrees with you coming in and talking whatever shit you want. But if you're going to go on Steven's stream and threaten to get me banned, then yeah, we have to ban you. But no, you were not banned in retaliation for you banning me. You until then, as I told you in the subreddit, you're more than welcome to come, say whatever you want. But yeah, if you're gonna threaten to get me deplatformed, then like yeah, fuck you, you're banned. As I think if I threaten to get your subreddit deleted, you should ban me. I think that would be totally fair.
You ever imagine yourself doing that?
Calling for me to be fired, like that's fine though, right?
Well, calling for you to be, I said you should either be fired or been given different marching orders. That's not deleting Steven's subreddit. That's just.
Oh, I see. That's so nuanced. So, I was posing an existential
it's
threat.
very simple.
And you are just saying, hey, he could be given new marching orders, but he should be fucking fired. I see now. I see.
Yes, I think you shouldn't do what you're doing, but I don't think it's really your fault. I think Steven is enabling you and hiding behind your whatever the fuck you're doing.
All right,
I don't really have a personal issue with you,
MrGirl.
Yeah.
You want something from someone, and that person's aware of that, which is Steven right now. And he's not giving it to you. Correct?
I don't know. I think he's going to think about it, but so far, no.
I feel like you should use this information to your benefit, and then like figure out, I don't know, make assumptions off this. Like sometimes, like, not that this is happening here, but there's a statement I kind of live by in business, and it's like, if you give someone the opportunity, if someone fucks you in a small way, they're only getting ready to fuck you in a big way if you give them the opportunity.
True, Dan.
You feel super passionate about this issue. I feel like if you make your point and if he doesn't agree with you, he just doesn't agree with you. I'm not sure it goes to a stronger level than that. But I don't know, are we going to be here forever, or what do you think the next step of this is? I guess
for us to have a pretty blunt face-to-face, one-on-one, not face-to-face, but one-on-one conversation.
Do you feel that you'll be able to convince Steven to unban you from the Discord, or not the Discord, the Reddit? Sorry.
I don't think it's not. I think if I asked him to unban me, he'd probably just say yes. I don't think it's about.
I think right now that's not the case. I think you could try it.
Well, I don't know. I've never asked him.
It's probably gonna get abandoned there, Joe. Like I'm keeping him permaban. Obviously, I didn't even.
Yeah. It's not. It's the argument is not about whether he is going to unban me. I think if I DM'd him and I was like, dude, like, will you please unban me? He would probably just do it. The question, it's a principled stand. I'm saying you should unban me because of the ethical implications around it, and I'm willing to stay banned as long as you don't agree with that. So
when you say his treatment of, like, it's basically the treatment of orbiters, essentially. Like, orbiters are free content, and that he should be more responsible for the people in the stream. And when people are kind of going crazy, not only, well, I don't want to summarize everything you said. Do you think you're going to be able to get him to come around to that view, or are we just kicking the fucking ball down the street a little bit here for another future escalation? Because that's really the big thing.
I don't think Steven is going to make some grand gesture of capitulation or make some announcement of like, from now on, here's how it's going to be. But I think it is the most likely outcome is he will probably think about what I'm saying and either make small conscious or unconscious changes to how he treats orbiters or thinks about it down the line, or at least with me. I think it's unlikely that it will have no impact, but I don't know how much impact.
You know, whoa, hold up, MrGirl. We got the original Mr. Moisture in the house. What is up, Sir Orbiter Supreme himself? You know.
Yes. I've been away for a bit.
That's true. Where have you been?
Where'd you guys go last night? What food place?
Pizza.
Oh, Domino's?
Domino's. Oh, you think so poorly of me.
Well, I know times are tough for you, Dan.
No, they're not. They're fine.
Oh, business is a booming?
Yeah, business is booming.
Business is a booming.
I get good pizza. But, you know, in general, things are fine. Had a long talk with Steve about, you know, just all the stress and drama in his life and all the craziness and
I hear
whatnot.
he's playing the piano right now.
Yeah, and
That's
he
nice.
just
kind of hanging out, just chilling. What are you doing awake right now? Isn't it bedtime for you?
It's 9 a.m. Or it's 9 p.m.
Yeah, isn't that bedtime for you?
I'm an old man now,
It's the same time for us, actually.
What do you mean?
Same coast. Well,
I gotta...
MrGirl.
Is this over yet? Did you...
What are you here
won?
for? No one
I don't know.
won.
I just heard everyone's freaking out. I want to know who won.
No one won.
Oh,
we're all losers.
I won.
You know my Jewish grandfather used to say to me, Dan?
What?
When I try to open a door and it's locked, I try another door. He would say that to me to try to get me to quit screenwriting.
When I try to open a door and if it's locked, I'll try another one.
Yeah, he's saying, like, you know, if you're getting a lot of resistance, you should just go do something
Find a different
else.
door.
You need to work on your Jewish accent. Is this the best one you got?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Dan, your Jewish accent is a Russian.
Here, do yours,
No,
and do yours.
mine is way
Go ahead,
better. First off, his
Do it,
sounds just
do
like
it.
a dead and diseased.
Tell us what your grandpa told you, Dan. Go.
When you go to find a door and it's closed, you find another one. That's a good Jewish accent.
All right, that's acceptable. Do Japanese now, Dan.
No, that's not how my grandfather talks. My grandfather grew up in the Bronx. He didn't talk like that.
Yeah. Why would you assume that people talk so much? Okay, I need to go do my thing because I hate my life.
Where are you going?
Guys. What?
Where
I
you
think
going?
I said I'd do a podcast for 45 minutes ago.
I love you too. I'll DM you.
I love you
we'll,
all. I love everybody in here. And Lav.
Wait, Dan, when's our podcast happening, Dan?
Who the fuck knows?
Are you ready?
Maybe coming up soon. We'll
right,
see. All right. Well, Steven.
Yeah. Bye.
MrGirl.
I love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.